All right, here we go. Boom. There we go. So, first of all, welcome.
Thank you.
Thanks for doing this. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me, Joe.
Your fucking documentary, that might have been one of the craziest documentaries I've ever seen in my life. The 7-5, if
Right.
people haven't seen it. Dude, what a fucking crazy life you lived. Jesus Christ.
I'm
Do you feel
embarrassed.
lucky to be alive?
Yes.
You're embarrassed?
I'm embarrassed because, you know, I'm looking at people that's supposed to respect law enforcement, and it's almost, you know, almost glorifying some of the crazy shit we did.
I don't think it's glorifying.
I hope not.
No,
Yeah.
it's definitely not. I don't think it is. I think it's an honest portrayal of people going off the rails because they didn't have that you had the ability to do so. You know? I mean, that's what it was.
Debauchery, right? I mean, it's just untamed and just the ability to get away with things that no one else could.
Well, I think we're seeing today with law enforcement, with all the stuff that's going on, with all these kids getting shot and all these, these videos that get taped of police abuse, we're seeing that for the longest time, this stuff just wasn't filmed. That there was a lot going on. I mean, we've all witnessed, I'm sure you more than anybody, but we've all witnessed some cops that were out of control. Right. And I think that's just what happens when people have power, and you just kind of they get a little crazy. When you don't have anybody checking that power, and then on top of it, in your situation, there was cocaine and there was crime and there was all sorts of craziness. I mean, I learned about your documentary from Nick DiPaolo. He was on my buddy Ari Shaffir's show, and he was raving about this documentary, and it wasn't even out yet. It was you had to pre-order it on iTunes.
Right.
I fucking hate that when you want to watch something
How do you
right
think I feel?
away.
People are calling me like in the middle of the night. Where's this documentary? I can't get it. I'm like, let me call the people at All 3 Media, and like they don't give a fuck. They're just like, oh, we're sleeping right now. We're in California time. I said, okay. Or they're not awake yet. Whatever. It's just ruinous.
What did Nick see? Like a pre-screening or something like that? Did he see it in the movies? Did you?
I don't know. I think I hate to say this on the air, but I think he pirated it.
How dare he? That's illegal.
I think he did.
That's illegal.
Because he had heard about it from somebody, and he couldn't get it.
Right.
And I was like kicking the ground saying, who's promoting this goddamn thing? It's about my life, and people asking me a lot of questions about it, and I'm like, why don't you just go see the documentary? But after like a week of trying to get it, then they throw their hands in the air, and they're like, we can't get it. So I had a lot of frustration over the way it was distributed. But I wasn't involved in it, so in that part.
I white-knuckled my way through that whole thing.
It was
I didn't
intense.
shut that off once.
I'm going to tell you and your audience how, I'm a nut. Like I love adrenaline shit, but I really can't sit through most things. And when the movie was premiered the first time it was seen ever by myself as well, I sat by the door thinking that, one, I'm going to be bored, or two, I'm not going to like the content in the movie and just leave the theater. And my family and some friends were there, not everybody, but select people showed, and I sat by the door, and like in a minute and a half I just turned around in the seat and didn't fucking move. And that's hard for me to do. I mean, you'll see throughout this conversation here, I'm all over the map. But
have you always been all over the map?
I think it's the expressiveness with the body. We speak more with our body than our mouth for some reason. I don't know, maybe we're short-tongued on the English language, but just the way I don't know, being a cop, you always watch your back, so there's a lot of, I don't know how to explain it. It's just, that's the way we speak.
No, it's a very well done movie, but
excellent.
The subject matter itself, the actual story itself, the facts involved in the story are fucking completely insane. I mean, you guys, you were involved in so much craziness.
It was out of control.
But here you are. You're out on the street. You're doing podcasts. You're doing press for the movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's got to feel weird for you to have gone through that.
It's different lives. In the way I see it, I was a young boy, young man, police officer, convict, inmate, parolee, and now I'm somebody else. It's just weird how, like a chameleon, you just change with the environment, and that's how you adapt and overcome anything. Is you just have to learn how to live within the environment you're in, and it seems like that doesn't seem the same. First of all, let's be real. I was 23, 24 years old when most of these incidents took place, and then they carried on. The more detailed criminality took place later on as I got closer to my 30-year number. But you're talking, I'm 54 today, so my perspective on everything I did and my perspective on the world today is way different than it was back then. You know.
Yeah, whenever I try to watch a documentary about people doing crazy shit, I always imagine myself like, what would I do if I was in that situation? Like, how would I have reacted if I was a young man? And I probably would have been right there with you.
Yeah, you know, and it's sad, but you know what's sad about that is it's people given the opportunity to do wrong and they can get away with it. You have to ask yourself this question: if I could take that 200,000 lodge right now. Just, you know, plain out question, and never have any negative consequences happen to me. Now, I'm not saying because you broke the moral code of policing and all that shit. I'm just saying, just be a normal human being, walk up, find 200 lodge. No one's going to miss it. It's not yours. And you're never going to have any bad karma or anything happen to you. Would you take it?
It's a good question. And you don't know until you're right there.
No one even knows except for one person that it's theirs.
And it depends on where you are in your life.
In your life. You're broke. You got kids. You got a mortgage. You have rent to pay. Your car's broken down. You got no gas money.
If you're a 55-year-old man and you have a happy family and you have a good career.
You make a phone call.
You probably do something nice and you get on the news. And look at this. Michael Dowd
what a gentleman.
Gave away $200,000 he found in a bag. Well, I didn't know what to do with it.
Yeah, and I'm good. My life is good. You know, I got a house in the hills.
When you're 22 and you're on blow.
24 I started popping that. But
yeah, it's and you also, it's interesting because you're constantly around people that are making insane amounts of money, and they're doing it by breaking the law.
Yeah, let's focus a little bit here. This is the 1980s. Crack epidemic, East New York.
Right.
So no action I do is justified, okay?
Right.
I did wrong,
Absolutely.
and I paid the fucking price, I hope. You know, some people want me for life, some people want me dead. But you know what? Fuck you too, all right? I'm here, I'm out, I did my time.
Right.
I served it straight up. I walked the track by myself for 12 fucking years, kissed my ass goodbye, okay? So now I am here to talk about the stories that made the story, the 7-5, what it is. I didn't bring this upon myself. I mean, the actions and all that, yes, but somebody approached me from Hollywood, wanted to do a documentary about this commission called the Mullen Commission. I told them it's a piece of shit deal, do a story about the boys from the 7-5, and I think you'll have a good movie.
So what was the original thing they wanted to come to you about?
Well, I was the main focus, which is a thread throughout the documentary, is that there was these hearings called the Mullen Commission, which if people know history, they can go back to the Knapp Commission when Serpico is the guy that did time with from the Colombo family. But so Serpico was a cop who got shot in the face in the movie Serpico. And in fact, he actually commented on this documentary to Tilla Russell, the director. I don't know, it's 2 in the morning, because you guys out here don't know the fucking time. It's 2 in the morning, my text message goes off, because it's 10:30 at night or 11 o'clock at night for him. I just got a phone call from Serpico saying it's the best movie he's ever seen in his fucking life.
Wow.
You know, and I'm like, fuck Serpico, because I really don't like Serpico, to be honest with you, because he said some nasty things about me, 1, and 2, he was a rat. So, but... You know, he says, well, Mike, he's, Americana, he's history, you know, and so I got to give him his props. I said, fine, but I really don't want to hear he liked my movie. So, fuck him. But I've nothing against him, really, but, you know, certain people you keep at a distance, and he's one of them that I would choose to. I mean, I'd shake his hand and say you're a good guy.
The Serpico thing, he ratted out other corrupt cops, is that what it was?
Yeah, he did the right thing.
Yeah. So fuck him.
And no one liked him. I mean, that's the way it is, right?
Was that movie accurate, that Al Pacino movie?
I can't. Look, I wasn't there. Serpico.
Yeah,
have
ask
him on.
What is the word? Is the word that it was accurate? Or is it...
The word is that the shooting was not quite the way they said in the movie itself. But he turned in his partners. You know, they wanted him to take the money, and he wouldn't take the money. And, you know, he was intransigent about it, and someone shot him in the face.
Now,
and I've been in the building half a dozen times in the 90 precinct. They actually shot another movie there by one of the actors. I can't think of the name.
What's interesting is your partner, when you were your partner in this film, turned you in, but he was involved in a lot of it with you, and he never wound up doing any time.
Yeah, I mean, this story can go in many different directions here, Joe.
Yeah.
Kenny was, let's consider a good cop. You know, he was there for the money.
What was his last name?
Kenny Urell. He was there for the money. He would make collars. He'd lock everybody's husband up. Like, You would have a fight with your wife in a ghetto, and this was like a daily thing, you know. And he would go there and lock you up and take you out. That was his gig. He did that for years. That was his overtime money. And I told him I don't really like to do those things, and we got together, and
He had like a specialty?
that was his specialty.
Domestic violence?
Ironically.
Ironically. Deep terms. This story goes deep.
Ironically,
Okay,
I can't.
so
Yeah.
I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
So
Isn't that something?
it always is. So so he would arrest these guys, and how would he make money doing that?
Well, you get overtime. Every arrest would land you at least 8, sometimes 16 hours of overtime, depending upon what time you made the arrest.
Oh.
So he'd be able to make the arrest and go to sleep for fucking 12 hours and make $600-700 on someone's misfortune. And if, you know, they may have been legitimately arrested. I'm not saying they weren't. You know.
So how would he make money off of going to sleep? I don't understand that.
Well,
So
when you're waiting to book a prisoner / potential inmate, you have to wait. For hours and hours and hours. So you would sleep on newspaper racks, boxes in the hallway, central booking. You know, central booking was like a mass unit.
really? So you arrest a guy, and then you go take a nap somewhere?
That's how it was.
Wow.
Yeah, so you would get paid to lock somebody up. So that's why the city was against arresting drug dealers, okay? This whole thing turns into a whole conundrum here.
Yeah.
Like that word? Anyway, the crack epidemic caused the city to go broke in many ways because you'd have police officers arresting people for minor drug offenses that were, you know, it was crime, you know, and cops are supposed to arrest people for crime. So what happened was it would cost so much to process an arrest that they would sort of discourage you. And by that mean, they wouldn't say, don't do that. It was never in policy. But you would find yourself on a footpost somewhere. Like I would get the post down in Vandalia by the weeds. Well, it was drag racing there at night, and that was it, you know. And so I would get like eye allergies from standing in the weeds if I made arrests for drugs.
Really?
Yeah. So that's how they would discourage you from making arrests.
And just to save money. So
Well, what do bureaucracies exist for? You know, profit and loss, you know.
but that's
They don't exist for the people. We, as
Right.
police officers, are supposed to serve the people. You know, and then you become part of a system that's not there for them. They're there for themselves.
So were you there before the crack epidemic and
I was
during?
there just before the crack epidemic started. In fact, we didn't know what it was. We used to toss people just because we get drug calls, you know. So you toss someone, what the fuck is this? We'd be throwing it out. We didn't know what it was.
Wow.
And then one day, one of my partners brought it home, and he came back with like $500 and said, that's what that shit was last night. I go, what is it? He goes, it's cocaine. I go, oh, you got to be fucking kidding me. You've been throwing this out. So,
Wow.
and that was 84/5.
Yeah, I remember hearing about it because I was in high school at the time, and people started talking about crack. Like you would hear it in the news, crack epidemic, and
Yeah.
then this violence and crime epidemic.
Well, you heard about it because Len Bias.
That's right.
You were
Yeah.
in Boston at the time?
Yeah. Mhm.
He was the basketball player that was drafted by the Celtics, and he never played a day.
Yep.
Because after he got drafted, they gave him this big signing contract and everything. He went out and partied, did some crack, had a bad heart on top of it, and killed himself.
Yeah.
So Ted Kennedy put these laws in place which put half the urban kids in federal prison for fucking life sentences, which now Obama's rightfully, in many cases, rightfully undoing. And, you know, that's a big political issue that we
Yes, it is.
might not
yeah.
want to get into. But
Well, it was a crazy.
one of the only things I agree with him on is that.
Ted Kennedy. Yeah.
No.
Oh, Obama.
Obama,
Right. Yeah. Well, that's a big one. The war on drugs is one of the most.
Well,
ridiculous
it's not.
ones.
It's ridiculous. They should just get rid of all drug laws and let people go to rehabs,
Yes,
and there'd be no money in it.
I agree.
I mean, simple.
Yeah,
Make it
exactly.
simple.
Well, I mean, they've known that since the organized crime epidemic of the prohibition.
Right, yeah.
I mean, that's
It's
what
the same shit.
That's what empowered organized
Right.
crime, the ability to make shit tons of money. That's what's going on down in Mexico right now.
yeah.
They're making money off the fact that
They
drugs
control-
are illegal in America. When this is all going down, for people on the outside like me, you know, I had heard about it, but I didn't know how much of it was real. You know, you hear things about the news, and the news being, you know, they blow things out of proportion.
It turned people into criminals. It really fucking. Look at us. I mean, we were good guys. Most of us were good guys from hardworking families, cops, firemen, you know, blue collar people. You know, sanitation workers, bus drivers, plumbers, electricians, and you became a cop. You thought you were still in the same genre of blue collar, and you know, you were the ones that we used to call equated to Beirut. It was like going to fucking Beirut, and you know. And supervisors were just happy that you were there, and that we can all go home today. So you know, so you took a odd 10, 20 grand. No one really gave a fuck. The problem was when people start complaining and make noise, then it brings attention.
So when you're there before this is happening, how much different was the environment that you were policing before crack and after crack?
It was like
noticeable?
a storm. It was like a fucking tornado came in and ripped the fucking community right apart. Now, don't get me wrong. It was, urban ghetto that survived the 60s and the turmoil and all that stuff. And you had your racial breakdowns within communities. But I got there in, I want to say 83. I'm old now. So I got there in 83, 84. So I was there about a year and a half, and it was getting crazy because coke was expensive. Coke was $50,000 a key, so it was tough for the inner city community to have it, but it was around. And then when it dropped down to like 15, 20,000, 14,000 a kilo because of crack and the volume of, I guess, whoever was bringing it in, there's many theories on who was helping bring it in back then. It just, everybody can now get it, and everybody now experience the Studio 54 high. Mm-hmm. Now the kid in the inner city was experiencing it for 5 seconds. Bang, goodbye. Ooh, I loved it. Now they're looking for the next hit, and it was just.
So it just radically changed.
Blood. It was blood on the streets everywhere. It was fucking ridiculous.
Wow. Now when you got
every day,
every day, you just saw just gunshots,
death,
knives,
stabbings, and shootings every day.
Wow.
It was exciting.
Yeah, I'm sure.
It was fucking great.
Well, that seems like part of it to me. Like when I was watching this, I was like, geez, it seems like in a way you're kind of having some fun.
Oh, I had fun every day. I didn't want to miss work.
I believe
I hated fucking 3-day swings. And the cops who listen to this, a lot of cops hate me, but they sort of respect me in a way because they understand. Not respect for what I did.
Right.
My honesty. I hope that's what they take from this. Because you got a lot of cop fans and shit like that, and they respect you and the martial artists guys, And most of them are really good guys, but they get it. It's the ones who get what I'm talking about that will appreciate this conversation you and I are having.
Well, I think if you're a cop in Orange County and you're a police officer in Irvine and you're dealing with a little bullshit here and there, you got to kind of know there's a big fucking difference between that and East New York in the 1980s during the crack epidemic.
I hope you do, because if you don't.
And you got to know what's the difference between, I mean, it seems like it wasn't just you. It seems like your entire precinct was kind of full of shenanigans.
Well, let's put it like this, and this is to take nothing away from the, at that time, let's say 90% were all legit. Guys going to work, with their lunch pail and going home and living, waiting for the next paycheck. I mean, I used to forget my paychecks because I was making so much money. That's the truth. And that got me in trouble by it. That started this whole investigation on me.
Because you forgot your paychecks.
I kept forgetting to pick them up.
And you pulled up your Corvette.
Yeah, well, that was the lieutenant spot I pulled it in. That sort of pissed him off. Anyway. Sometimes you want to make a point like, fuck you. He's trying to take my girlfriend away. Fuck you. Parking in your spot. You're not getting her or the spot now.
Oh, that's hilarious. So it was just, it seemed like it was a lot of fun. Like there was this one case where you guys were talking about where you kept circling the block.
Listen, I got a better story. That was fun. That was fun. But I brought a cheat sheet with me because I got like 600 stories here,
right.
and I'm working with a guy named Rob Sear right now. Him and I are starting to collaborate on. We're gonna do maybe the book again. We gotta.
Please do.
Well, this is a process here. You know how things.
Right.
You've been probably through this yourself personally. Like we got some people in, but I'm talking with. We're dealing with Sony a little bit. We're trying to get this thing right. I think Rob Sear, who's an ex-New York City cop, who's done a couple bestsellers, he might be the right one to put the whole thing together with me. I can speak, he can write, he knows the color in the middle.
Right.
We're a writer, and could make it happen.
Especially since he was a cop.
He was a cop, and he's got some credibility. He does the Gotham comedy show in Manhattan. I don't know. They run some live shows sometimes.
Oh, live from Gotham?
From Gotham,
yeah,
right.
Access TV?
Yeah, he does. Yeah. He does a lot of that stuff.
Okay.
And so he's involved in that. So he's got some credibility.
He does it as a comic? Does he do stand-up?
No, he's in the productions part of it and stuff like that. But he's a writer, and he wrote 2 bestsellers. So, I think we're gonna have him talk with what's his name, Lesher. Lesher from John Lesher, I think his name is.
I don't know who that guy is.
Yeah,
Who's that?
He's got the Academy Award list. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So we're gonna have a little discussion, him and I, and
About
Rob,
doing a movie or something?
about the 7.5 movie. Sony owns the rights.
Right.
We're just trying to make it work right now. So there's a lot of discussion going on making it come together properly.
So Sony owns the rights to do a dramatic recreation.
Of the 7.5. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I think you got to do a book though, because I gotta imagine there's no way they're gonna jam
I'm
that
gonna
into.
tell you a funny story. So I'm on patrol in Brooklyn, and I'm working with I can't remember. It could have been Kenny. I don't fucking know. I don't care, because I'm just telling you from my perspective. And down the block comes this guy Chicky. Chicky's in the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's pissed, and he's in the back of his trunk of his car. Is the trunk is wide open in the back, and he's got this Joker poker machine in the back of his car. Right, the patrol car.
Mm-hmm. So what's a Joker poker machine? Like a gambling machine?
It's a gambling machine, yeah. You put your money in, and they don't pay out, but they do pay out if you know the right people behind the counter there. And so it's a gambling device that you can get away with gambling or not, We hand out candy. Instead, they hand out money, depending upon who the patron is.
Oh, I see, okay.
So it's back in the 80s, that was the game. So we're driving down the block, and here comes the sergeant. Now, he's driving this way. I'm driving this way. I helped him load the machine into the back of the patrol car, because it's heavy. It's about 1,000 pounds, this machine. So we load this into the back of his patrol car, and up pulls the sergeant. The sergeant has no idea what's going on. It's like, what's going on? Oh, this guy pissed me off. Chicky. He starts saying, this guy pissed me off. Who? The guy behind the counter. He made me pay for soda or something like that. Meanwhile, he's got illegal Joker poker machines in his store. So Chicky says, that's it. These your machines? He goes, yeah. To the owner, the patron of the store. He goes, yeah, that's my machine. So he says, okay. He takes the machine, blows him in the back of his car. He's going to take him home and empty them out, because it's got $4,000 in quarters in the machine, right? So he's pissed. The guy made him buy a soda for $1. Now he's going to take all the quarters out of the machine. So here comes the sergeant. Sergeant is driving by. He's on probation. Cops go on probation, and they pass. Then they move state patrolman steady. A sergeant goes from patrolman to sergeant, and then he's on probationary period. So here comes a sergeant on probation. He's this 4 or 5 year veteran cop with a Joker poker machine in the back of the trunk of his car, and he goes, "What's going on?" He says, "Oh, the guy pissed me off, sergeant. I'm not letting him do this illegal gambling shit." I mean, there's everywhere. Every fucking store has one, right?
Right.
So it's just, there's 600 stores. There's 6,000 machines in the precinct, but this one's got to go. So the sergeant says, "What are you doing?" He says, "I'm taking it." He goes, "Why?" "Well, the guy pissed me off. He was rude. He's disrespectful, and this is illegal. It's a crime." And we got guys getting shot, murdered, stabbed, selling crack on every corner. He's taking this guy's Joker poker machine. So that's how insignificant these things normally are. So the sergeant's like, "Chicky, he may have disrespected you, and you may be pissed off, but you got to put it back, please." Sergeant's like, he's like, "Why, Sergeant?" He goes, I'm on probation. I don't need any problems." So, P.S., we go, "Okay, Sergeant, no problem. Bring it back." So Chicky turns around, looks at me. He goes, "All right, Sergeant, we're putting it back." We drove back to the store. The sergeant left, went right from the store to Chicky's apartment. Like you said, you wanted 2 apartments before. Anyway, he had an apartment local in the precinct. So we went to the apartment, dropped the Joker poker machine off at his apartment. I mean, these are the things we would do, because you could.
Just because you could.
Because you could.
Well, it seems like it was just, there was a lot of excitement. Like, doing all that. The driving around the block store was my favorite, because you were driving around the block for like an hour and a half.
Yeah. Well, because Chicky didn't get there in
Right.
time. He didn't have a car. Chicky had left the job because of all the investigations.
Right.
You got that from the documentary.
Yeah.
So I needed someone. Kenny wasn't available, so I don't even know if I was working with him yet. He'll say he probably was, but whatever. Anyway, so Chicky had his car in the shop being repaired. So I'm like, you got to be fucking kidding me. I need someone now with a car and a badge. That's all I need. So I didn't want to lose sight of the house in case...
Well, for people who haven't seen the documentary, what was going on?
Well, there was a burglary call at the house, so we responded as patrol people, and we checked out the place, and inside was 2 young girls who were sitting there on the floor in this home, with the door knob broken off. And they said that they were given permission by the owner of the home to spend the afternoon or day here in her home. And I asked her, where did the owner happen to be, since you broke the door knob to get in? "Oh, she's in prison right now." I said, "Oh, and for what?" And she goes, "Well, I think for drugs." I said, "Okay, very good. Thank you." So I turned left hard, and there's a box of fucking shoes, piles of box of shoes. Mm-hmm. If anyone knows anything about the drug business, they spend a lot of money on their personal shoes, because what else are you going to spend money on, you know?
Right.
You can't build a new house in the ghetto, you know, you're just wasting your money. But you could have a lot of shoes. So I saw all these boxes of shoes, nice, high heels, pumps, all this stuff. So I said, okay, there's a girl in here spending a lot of money on shoes. And the furniture looked pretty good for the location. So I open the closet, and there's a fucking duffel bag filled with cash. I pick up, actually, that's really not exactly what happened. Some anti-crime guy went in there, picked up the bag. He looks at me. I look at him. I go, what are you going to do, voucher this? Come on, we spend all day vouchering the money. Leave it there. He looks at me. He looks at me. He goes, all right. He puts it down. I put my hand in the bag and start stuffing the money in my pockets. But I had no room. I didn't have enough room. I was wearing summer clothes. I didn't have my winter uniform on with the jacket where you can stuff everything. So anyway, I said, this is not going to work. There's too much money here. You know, you can't run out of a building with a bag filled with money and have the cops see you, because they're going to say, where'd the bag go, right?
Right.
So my enemy was the cops at this point. So, you know, I found a way to circle the house for an hour and a half in every possible direction you could. And then Chicky finally pulled up with another guy that was retired from the job. They walked in with their Duke badges on, and the landlord lets them in, and yeah, up there. They just left that apartment up right up there. When he went in, he'd come out with the bag, and about a minute later, I pulled him over. Boop boop, pulled him over. How'd we do? Real good. I go, what are you gonna do? He goes, let's go to Atlantic City. I go, great. I go back to the cell phone. I go back to the payphone on the corner. Back then, we had the original car phone. You would drive the patrol car up on a curb and just reach out to the fucking AT&T phone booth. So you'd sit in the patrol car and dial the precinct. So I dialed the precinct. It was a free call, by the way. You didn't have to pay for it. Hey, boss, yeah, my wife needs me at home right now. You know, one of the kids broke a toe. Whatever excuse you can come up with. Yeah. Okay, no problem. Come in. You can take lost time. It's called lost time. So I told the girl in the car I was working with, who was an IED plant, by the way. She was an internal affairs plant sitting with me the whole time. I said, okay. I said, you know, I got to go home. My wife just paged. Because we had beepers back then. My wife just paged me. The kid's sick or something. And so I went back to the precinct, signed out, went to Atlantic City in a limousine. And so cleaned the money.
The girl who was driving around with you as you were going around for an hour and a half was a plant?
Yeah, she was an internal affairs cop. Wow. I don't know if I ever told anybody that, but yeah, she was an internal affairs cop.
So did she get suspicious? Did she ask questions while you were driving around in a circle
for
an hour and a half?
I told her. I said, just in case someone comes back and breaks in you don't want to see this people's house get ransacked or anything.
Right.
She didn't know there was money in there. Otherwise, she would probably vouch it, you know.
Right.
We didn't let her know that.
Right. But did you know she was a plant? Or did you have
Yes.
So you knew?
Yes.
Wow.
Very good job they did of hiding the plant. In fact, I had a beer with her 2 days before.
But it seemed like all this stuff that you were doing, all these criminals that you were dealing with, like the heightened sort of environment that you were in must have been very addictive, because there was just so much going on. There was so much action.
It was, listen, when you're 28 years old and you're driving to work and you got the nerves on one side of your body freezing up on the other side, from your head to your arms going numb. Yeah, there was a lot of shit going on.
Why was it going on?
I don't know if it was from the coke or from the nerves. Just because you didn't know what was going to happen from one day to the next, but you just couldn't get out of it.
The stress must have been insane.
Yeah, it was insane. I pull over on the side of the road and say, okay, if I die over here, it's okay. They'll find me. Like, that's how crazy.
So if you die from a heart attack,
whatever.
you die
I didn't
from
know
coke?
I didn't know what it was going to be.
Wow.
Driving to work, I'm not sure. So I just feel my body starting to go out. So I pull over to the right, so I didn't hurt anybody. You know, I'm being very conscientious here, right? Yeah, but it's weird.
Wow. So there was so much going on. I mean, how much coke were you doing?
Not that much. You know, I was a steady bumper. I wouldn't do a lot, you know.
Just doing it all the time?
Yeah.
So it wasn't like giant
No, I wouldn't.
Scarface-like
If I did lines
quantities?
like that, I'd be dead. Yeah. I don't know how they did it. I tried that once. It almost killed me.
When you were testifying in that film, that was one of the more intense parts of that movie, because you were just 100% open, 100% honest
to my own
about
fault,
it.
yeah.
To your own fault? Do you
Yeah.
think you
Yeah.
shouldn't have?
Some things I just should never fucking mentioned.
Like what?
Like with the girl and the money under the fucking Bible. Excuse me, Lord. You know, I'm still scared of God. You know, you come and get me. You know, I ask God forgiveness every day. You know, but you know, that was the most horrific thing I ever did. I think. You know, over the thousands of things I did, I took someone's $300, $400, whatever it was. I don't know. I don't know. Ask Kenny, he counted better than me.
But it just seemed like, it seemed almost for you at the time, like when I was watching it, like you were just so overwhelmed with the pressure of everything that it was almost a relief to get everything off your back.
When they locked me up, if I tell you how the arrest went down, it's insane. But anyway, when they finally put me in the car and tell me I'm under arrest, it was like, now I can go to sleep.
Really?
I can actually sleep. And funny thing of it all was, and this is a little touching maybe, but we're not, but I'll try to be light-hearted here. I call my wife from the county jail, and she goes to me, Mike, please don't take this the wrong way. She says, but I had the best night's sleep of my life last night because I knew where you were. I said, you gotta be fucking kidding me.
That's hilarious.
I don't know.
Because I knew where you were.
I knew where you were. I knew. Yeah. She slept like a baby, and I had roaches crawling in my ears. But yeah, it's okay.
How much of what was going on did she know about?
She only knew that I was doing wrong for the most part, and she knew there were drugs involved. But she never, touched it, got involved in it. She just begged me every day, stop.
But it seems like you kind of can't.
It's hard.
Does anybody ever go corrupt and then just go cold turkey like a heroin addict?
Good story.
Yeah?
I tried.
Did you?
I called Internal Affairs.
Really?
Yeah.
When? How old were you?
I was a cop.
Like,
I was in the middle of my heyday. I said, I have to stop and turn over a new leaf. My son was born, and I had to become a responsible father, I said. And this is not going to work out doing what I'm doing.
Right.
So I was in Coney Island, which is where I think the movie's going to start if they do it the way I suggest. I'm in Coney Island in front of the Nathan's. Right by Nathan's is the bumper car station where everybody goes and drives the bumper cars. They bang into each other. And it was a rainy summer. There must have been 30 good days, and the rest were lousy for the whole summer. And this is one of the days that it was. And up pulls this Mercedes-Benz, a guy in the car with the gold rope chains and the whole drug package going on. And I just turned my head to my partner. I said to him, look at the fucking gold on this guy's neck. Now, he's got boombox going, those big woofers and everything, convertible Mercedes. That's all I said. All of a sudden, I hear yo, 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 yo. And I don't turn for yo, 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 yo for nobody. And but I hear the footsteps, feel the weight of it, and I just glance back, and I see a shield in the guy's hand, a big black dude monster. I go, what's up? What do you want? You don't know who the fuck you are. I said, whoa, what's going on? He goes, you said, I asked you, can I park here? And you said, can't you read? I said, where'd that happen, that conversation? All I did was turn to my
And
phone.
he was a cop?
Yeah.
So
Anyway.
he was undercover? No?
No.
So he was a corrupt cop,
He was a
too?
corrupt cop, yeah.
Wow.
I didn't know this. I didn't know him.
So you thought he was a drug dealer?
I thought it was a drug dealer. All I was doing was commenting the package he had.
Right.
The whole
Giant
hookup.
gold
Yeah, the hoops.
Mercedes.
The girls had the hoops with the dollar signs.
Right.
It was the package.
The girl had hoops with dollar
Yeah,
signs?
you know how that
Hoop
was the
earrings?
80s. That was the.
Oh, those are the best.
Yeah.
Any girl with a hoop dollar sign, that's my kind of girl.
Yeah, I mean, it's,
I just
it's
like
all,
it when
it's
they
pretty
wear it on their sleeve.
It's clear. It's pretty clear where this is going, right?
Right.
So anyway.
So he doesn't know you're a cop.
I'm in uniform, walking
Oh,
the
Jesus
beat in
Christ.
Coney Island. I was sent to Coney Island detail because I was in trouble in East New York.
So he's giving you a hard time, and he knows you're a cop.
Yeah, and I'm in uniform, and he's giving me a hard time. A very embarrassing moment because you don't do that. You don't punk,
Right.
you don't punk each other out like that
Right.
because now you create a scene where something has to be, mediated. Right?
So he's probably coked up. At the very least.
I'm not going to answer for him.
Who knows?
But he's whacked out. Let's put it that
Something's
way.
going on
Something's
that's
going on. Yeah, he's full of
uneven.
himself. You
Yes.
know, he's full of self-importance. Who the
Right.
fuck does he think he is when he's talking to me?
Right.
Talk about self-importance, right? So anyway, he makes this big scene, and I can't squelch the scene. The sergeant comes, and it's over with. Okay. About a week. I could tell the story different ways, but the fact is, a couple days, couple weeks later go by. I'm out sick, which I should be home in my house, but I'm out. I just left the beach with my wife. I'm driving home from the beach, and I see this car parked on 111 right across from the cleaners, which is known for having a crack spot above it. Anyway, and it's his car, and it's his fucking name on the license plate. That's how I know that. Well, the car stands out, but it has his name on the license plate. You can't miss that.
Right.
And I asked my wife, I said, "What does he look like? Get a good look at him." Because I don't want to stop, turn around, make it obvious, but I could see him, I've seen him a few times. I had an argument with him for 20 minutes. Anyway, long story short, I go home, I call Internal Affairs. They rush to my house. Joe Tromboli, the guy in the movie that says the hair on the back of his neck stood up, he comes in my house with Lieutenant Marr. They start grilling me about my fucking life. I'm like, I called up on a guy selling drugs. No wonder why no one talks to you people. Anyway, Lieutenant Marr sends Joe Tromboli out of the house, and I go, Lieutenant, is this about me here? Because I'll just get a fucking lawyer. I don't know what's going on. I called you because some guy was selling crack around the neighborhood. He goes, well, how do you know he's selling crack? I said, look, I don't know, but he's in a crack spot, and he's a cop. So I'm telling you, all right? So I want to turn over a new leaf, start my new life. I got a new baby. Everything's going to be good now. I'm going to be a good cop. 4 weeks later, 3 weeks later, I'm getting calls at midnight. Well, not midnight. It's 2 in the morning. I'm getting calls at 3. I work 6 to 2 shift at Coney Island. 3 o'clock in the morning, my phone rings. Nothing. This went on for about, if I say 3 weeks, it could have been 2, whatever. It went on for an extended period of time. Finally, I get the guy to talk one day. I go, bro, what the fuck, man? Why don't you just come out with it? He goes, I'm banging your wife every day when she gets off the train in Brentwood. I said, really? That's nice. Yeah, when she comes home from work, she don't work, man. Yeah, okay, so when she goes to train from work, you're picking her up in Brentwood and you're banging her. He goes, yeah. I said, okay. So what else can you tell me? I says, well, why don't you come to my house, I tell him, and we just do this since you seem to know where I am. He goes, why don't I put a bullet in your fucking head right now, he tells me. And I'm standing in front of a plate glass window. So I'm like, ah! Meanwhile, my wife's screaming and they're fucking, who the fuck is this? I'm like, shut the fuck up. I'm trying to get the guy's finally talking. You're fucking this whole thing up. So now I'm sucking sand out of the bottom of my rug and trying to stay alive. I'm crawling into the back room where my son and my wife are sleeping. Not anymore. And I'm like, I can't believe this. This guy's fucking, he knows where I live, and he's got to be a cop. I don't know that until that moment I realized, because no one has my number, and cops can get each other's number by calling the precinct. I said, listen, I want to get in touch with so-and-so. I want to get in touch with so-and-so. And we have private numbers in a log at the precinct that you can get my number at if you need to speak to me. Turns out that he was already arrested. And he was out on bail when he's doing this to me.
So it was the same guy, the gold chain guy.
Yeah, same guy. So here I am trying to turn over a new leaf. You asked the question. I didn't pose this. You said, so what if you went cold turkey like a heroin junkie and tried to start from there? Well, I did. And look what happened to me. They threatened to kill me. They threatened to kill me. That's the beginning of it. Then I leave the Coney Island detail. I go back to the 7-5, and no one wants to work with me. So if you go to the documentary, you hear, Mike's no good. Stay away from him. Mike's no good. He's this. They didn't want to work with me because they heard I was a rat. Because I gave up a cop for corruption. Right? He wears a wire. I never did, by the way. Kenny's good with them. I never wore a wire. I never really gave up a good cop or a cop that did. The guy was selling drugs on fucking Long Island, trying to do the right thing, turn him in. I know they're looking at me for drugs, but not no more. I'm no more involved with drugs. I gave up the game. I wanted to be straight, so you can't go straight is what I'm trying to tell you. Once you get labeled in the police department, you're done. Because no one would work with me because I was straight.
Well, no one wanted to work with you because they thought that you were untrustworthy because you were turning this cop in.
Well, that's what I'm telling you.
Right.
But they would never admit to that. They go, anybody you talk to now says, no, he was rogue, he was corrupt.
Right.
But the fact is, they wouldn't work for me because they were afraid I was going to turn them in. And if you hear in the documentary, he says, well, Kenny says, well, the only thing he could turn me in for is having a beer. He mentions Mike and I had a beer together, and I could just walk away from this partnership, and they put us in the farm together, which I went to the farm 3 times, so I'm pretty good with the farm, too.
What's the farm?
The farm is where you go when you go for a rehab. You know, like if you need help.
Yeah.
Like intervention. Like to do interventions today.
Right.
Well, they did farms back then.
Farms?
Yeah, you went to the farm.
Like an actual farm?
Yeah, you would go to the farm.
Like where cows are and shit?
Yeah, where cows, and they had a fish pond, they had hay fields and shit.
And what would you do there? Just relax?
No, you dry out, you know.
Okay.
It was a place for mostly alcoholics, but, you know.
And they called it the farm?
It was called the farm.
Okay.
Yeah, but you would
and
call
cops would go there too, or just anybody would go there?
You'd be in rehabilitation.
Okay.
But it was known as the farm.
Right.
Yeah. It's renowned in the police department lingo.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
I went to the farm 3 times in like 9 months.
Wow.
I needed to. Well, they were after me too. You know, they were fucking hard on me. And 2 of my friends just went to prison. Walter, who's in the film, they went to a prison for a robbery they committed.
Was Walter the big guy?
Yeah, Walter's the monster guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Always helps having a giant guy.
You gotta have something. The fluff is good. You know, he was a pretty sharp guy too, but you know, he was young and dumb too. You know,
So he wound up going away. Did Chicky
and then
go
he did
away?
a short bit. He did like 2 years, and he came home. Chicky went away for 9 months, and then they came back and they needed work. So I helped find them work different times. You know,
Right.
Chicky went to work for Adam as one of my point men. When I was off, I put Chicky on the clock. So if I wanted to go home, you know, do my, you know, go home after
Right.
work, I'd have Chicky cover the next 6 or 8 hours of shift that they would be the bodega would be open selling their cocaine.
Now that's where it gets crazy. The
You think?
bodega,
That's
the whole.
where that's where it gets
Well,
crazy.
that was when you guys escalated.
Yeah.
When,
Well,
when
that's
you
what-
got
yeah, right.
involved
We got
with
really
the
organized.
cocaine dealing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, what it was the handwriting was on the wall that because the 7-7 precinct went down for shaking down local thugs and drug dealers, and the rumor was that 7-5 was going down. So we stopped doing that. I went to Coney Island. Half the guys left the precinct. They just quit the police department. And Chicky, one of them, and. When I came back to the 7-5, no one wanted to work with me. And in fact, one of my first days back, I hook up with Walter, who's a rookie kid, didn't know anything except that, he liked to make arrests and get involved in shit. And then I'm like, dude, you don't know who I am. I just want nothing to do with this stuff. And he's like, yeah, I'll make the arrest. I look at him, okay, you're going to really stop crime in here. You're going to make an arrest for a drug. Okay, good. But I want nothing to do with it because I don't want the attention. Meanwhile, Joe Trimboli, the guy that's following me, is across the street watching us interact. Yeah. This whole time, that's a long story. I called for the sergeant to give us a scratch so we can be done for the day. Scratch means the sergeant comes by and gives you notification that you're on where you're supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
I'm asking the sergeant to give us a scratch just by calling something over the air, not asking for the scratch because that would be inappropriate. But I would call in a car license plate, and the sergeant shows up, gives us a scratch. We're done for the day. I get in my private car, go to the bodega, pick up 4 hamburgers and 8-pack of little nip Bud Lights. No, they weren't, but the regular Buds back then. And the sergeant's following us the whole time, and he's watching us do all this shit. I'm over in the other end of the precinct because one of my favorite bodegas who makes a nice burger, and. We came back to the spot, ate this stuff, threw the shit out the window because it was the ghetto, and that's what you do, like an asshole. Instead of respecting the community, you fuck the community because you're an idiot. You're dumb, young and dumb. So I threw the 8-pack of beers out the window. The sergeant sees it flying out the fucking window. He goes and grabs the cans. Now he's going to call me in and investigate me for drinking on the job. But Walter stood up and said, no, we didn't have nothing. He goes, I got the fucking cans. He goes, they weren't ours. Walter held his mud early on. So you gotta love him. So he could have lost his job because he was on probation.
When you guys started dealing with the guys who owned the bodega, that's when the documentary gets most crazy.
Right.
And that's when it seems like you guys had escalated. You'd gone from just taking a little money here and there and having some fun and going to Atlantic City. Now you are deep.
We're deep, yeah.
In serious drug dealing.
Yeah, yeah. And that's why, when I had the meeting with Diaz, and I said, listen, you're going to have to, just to talk to us, you got to pay us money. Because I don't know where this is going to go, but I know it's going deep.
Right.
So I came up with a number, 24,000. Don't ask me why I didn't say 44,000. I have no idea. I think in my mind I broke down like this: 3 months clear pay for each of us.
Right.
After taxes at that time, we probably would have cleared. Do the math. 3,000 a month, whatever it was at that time. I said, okay, so let's have 3 or 4 months of clear pay. So if we get jammed up, we can survive. Like that's the number I came up in correlation to something like that.
So it was in case you got
Jammed
kicked
up.
off the force?
Yeah, right away. Yeah.
Okay.
Brilliant thinking, right? Knowing that something was not going to be good at the end of this.
And where's that guy now? He's in like the Dominican Republic
Yeah,
or something
get him
like
on
that?
the phone if you want.
Really?
Oh, I get him all right.
He was fucking hilarious. He's one of the best
Oh,
characters in the movie.
Speaking of him, he asked me to give you this.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh,
I don't know if you like cigars.
I do like cigars. What kind is this?
Yeah, this is the Adam Diaz King of Brooklyn cigar.
Well, he's got his own cigar?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
We just started. It's in the development process right now. But if you check out the label, you really can't see it well. But there's a picture of him with the unibrow. Did you see the movie hit with him
Yeah,
with the unibrow?
his unibrow was
His
tight.
unibrow. Yeah.
I respect the commitment to a unibrow.
Yeah, he was. Yeah. I think
These smell good.
Yeah. No, they're the Tabacaletta in Dominican.
Do you smoke these?
They're delicious.
Do you smoke?
Me and Marty had one.
You smoke one right
Me and
here?
Marty
Do
had
you want?
No, I wouldn't do that, but I would. They're delicious.
can.
That's okay.
We can smoke them. We got a little air
If
machine
you wanted
behind
to,
us.
we could.
All right, let's do it.
If you wanted to, yeah.
We got a knife, Jamie?
Yeah, I don't
A
know.
pair of scissors?
These are delicious, by the way.
I don't have a clipper.
Yeah, but
So he's a fucking character, that guy.
He's a
And that-
pisser. He's a
and
pisser.
That fucking unibrow. That's a commitment.
I'll
you
tell-
know,
I'll
all
tell-
these
yeah.
pussies today.
I'm gonna tell you a
trying
story.
to take
that,
away a couple little
just,
wax in their
I know. I
eyebrows.
do it too, like a bitch. But
Do you?
Sometimes.
You pluck your
No, I
eyebrows?
don't pluck. I shave.
Do you really shave the middle?
Right in the middle. Otherwise, I might
I
have.
used to have more hair there than now. I don't know what happened. I think from doing this all the time.
Yeah, from frowning.
Just
It just
fucking-
you wore it off.
Yeah,
or maybe
I
from the
definitely had
mat
more.
when you do
Maybe.
Yeah, man.
Getting choked.
Yeah, right.
Bad defense.
So a funny story with Adam, and I think most people appreciate this. I hope they do. Adam's paying me $8,000 a week right now, and I don't see him for 2 weeks. Now I'm getting a little fucking nervous, right?
Right. What do we got? Oh, a pair of scissors.
There
Beautiful.
you go. And
What the fuck happened to these scissors?
so,
What are you doing, Jamie? Getting crazy when I'm not here?
so Adam Diaz and I haven't seen each other in 2 weeks, and I'm getting a little annoyed because I want my money. I want it on time, and part of the deal was whether you're making money or not, you're paying me because
Right.
we've already opened the door to this. I'm going to start living the life, you know?
Right.
And can you open that, Mike? I'm just gonna start living. I got my neck is killing me.
What's wrong with
I
your
got 2 vertebrae banged up there.
Yeah?
Yeah, I don't know. Someone probably grabbed me the wrong way. I hurt myself at work.
Right.
Yeah, just recently. So Adam Diaz. So anyway, I haven't seen this guy, and he owes me now 2 weeks.
Right. Okay.
And if you learn anything about me, I don't like to be owed, and I don't like to owe. I like to
Right.
pay. I like to be paid on time, and I'm always early. Okay. So anyway, I finally see him. I see he's got the red Porsche. I mean, 911 Targa, 22 years old, right?
Yeah. Go ahead.
911 Targa, blonde hair, blue-eyed Dominican, 22 years old, convertible. There he goes down New Lots Avenue where New Lots in Vermont meet in this little triangle. And and Kenny's with me in the car at the time. Probably the first time he was. But anyway, so
These are pretty good. I just love the fact that I'm smoking that dude's cigar.
yeah, I just hit the fucking mic. so I pull him over, and he goes, he doesn't know who it is.
Right.
So Diaz is getting pulled over by the police in East New York, and I'm his hook, right?
Right,
But he
right.
doesn't know that it's me, because he doesn't
Right.
recognize, all he sees is blue, you know?
Right.
This tall guy, and he's sitting down low in the Porsche. So, license, registration, insurance card, he's fumbling around looking for his shit. He probably doesn't have anything, but anyway. So, he's got his Dominican pants on, his nice loafers. He's this sharp-looking kid. He's
Right.
they're always dressed to the nines. He looked good. And finally he goes, I look at him, I go, Adam, it's me. He goes, oh, Mike. He jumps up out of the car. Hey, give me a hug. What the fuck? Where you been? Like, I'm annoyed.
Right.
I'm annoyed, but I'm being nice. Where you been? I was in Yale.
Yale?
Yale. So
Jail?
I go, wait,
Like
well, hold on.
Spanish
Hold on, you
jail?
ruined my, this is the only thing I can coin in my
Right.
life that I know of.
Right.
So I go, Yale. You're in Yale. He goes, yeah. I go, how long were you in Yale? He goes, 3-4 days. I go, okay. You're up in Yale 3 or 4 days. I said, who do you know in Connecticut? I swear to Christ. Who do you know in Connecticut? He goes, Connecticut? I go, yeah, Yale's in Connecticut, the college. He goes, no. Not college. I was in Yale, Rikers Island. He says that perfectly. I go, you mean jail, not Yale? He goes, yes, Yale. I go, son of a bitch. So I think I coined this fucking term. Jail, not Yale, or Yale, not jail. Agreed? This is 1987,
Okay.
88. How long
Right.
you been hearing that term?
Yale, not jail?
Yeah. Were
Never.
you in jail, not Yale?
No, I heard it 34 seconds ago.
So here's the thank you. So here's this guy saying, I wasn't in Yale. I was in Yale. I'm like, you mean jail, not Yale? There you go.
He just
So,
can't say jail?
couldn't say it. Yeah. Well, if he texts me all the time, and he goes, instead of going ha ha ha, he goes
Ja, ja.
J-I-J-I-J-I. So,
J-A-J-A, yeah, they
Yeah.
do that all the time.
Yeah.
What is that?
I don't know.
That's ha ha ha? Mm-hmm. That's so strange. Yeah, that's how you know if Spanish people are making fun of you.
Yeah. G-G-G.
J-A-J-A-J-A. Okay. Yeah.
So anyway, just, you can't make that up, Where were you? I'm thinking he's in college,
Right.
because he's a sharp kid.
But why didn't you automatically assume, like I did, that he meant jail?
I'm not as sharp as you.
But you're around Spanish people all the
Because
time.
he's out in the fucking street. He's out in the
Okay.
street driving a Porsche. If he was in jail, who the fuck let him go?
Right.
The guy sells kilos about a second.
Well, how did he get out?
I don't know. I didn't want to ask too many questions. I just wanted my money. You want to learn about me? I don't ask a lot of questions because if I don't like the answer, I'm going to get really fucking mad.
Right.
I just want the money.
But dealing with a guy like that and dealing with an organization like that, you had to know that, okay, now I've taken this giant step.
Yeah.
I'm involved with a serious murderer, cocaine dealing motherfucker. Like, this is
Horrible.
yeah.
It's horrible. It's horrible. You sell your soul. And you know, what's to say other than this? I got a little annoyed with him, right? So I get in I'm not living at home anymore. My life is a disaster, a complete disaster. So I call my wife up. I says, "Listen, things aren't going too good, hon. You want to get back together? I want some stability in my life."
Right.
So she goes to me, "I'm okay from here." You know?
Oh,
How
no.
can you blame her? She goes, "I'm okay from here," and so she goes. I go, "Listen, I'm going to Dominican Republic, and I'm going with this woman I'm seeing at the time, who was a police officer, a sweetheart girl, anyway." And so I go, "Would you go with me instead?" She goes, "Take her, have a good time." This is my fucking wife telling me,
Wow.
"Take her, have a
Take
good
her
time,
and have
and when
a
you get
good
back, we'll
time."
talk." I mean,
Wow,
yeah,
what a good kid.
That's what I'm saying.
That's a good
You
woman
can't-
right there.
I ruin everything I touch. Anyway,
Wow.
so what a fucking. I hope my
So,
girlfriend
you
doesn't
know,
hear this.
sometimes, like, I think adversity makes some women better. There's some women that, like, dealing with a no offense, asshole husband.
Yeah.
Sometimes it just makes them a better person. They learn how
They
to, like,
learn.
roll with
They
the
learn.
blows
They
better.
learn a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they're sitting back observing this whole disaster take
Yeah.
place, you know? Because they're trying to stop you, and you ain't listening.
Yeah.
So I go to Dominican Republic,
Right.
and thanks. And I'm on the plane, and there's this guy with a beard, well groomed. He's making small talk with us, me and the girl, and he's got some woman with him. Look, I'm on vacation. I'm not going there to fucking rob anybody or make any deals. I'm going there to see my Dominican drug kingpin and see if we can get the money pipe flowing again. I'm a little distraught here now. My income's cut way down. I'm only making about $2,000-3,000 a week. I was getting $6,000-7,000 a week between his payoffs and all my other shakedowns going on. You know, I was doing good. Now I'm getting a little tight, you know. I got fucking 4 homes. I got a kid I want to put away for his college. Sorry, I never made that. But anyway, so, you know, so there's a lot of things I got planned here, and he's fucking it up right now because he's hiding in Dominica.
Right.
So I'm going to see him. So I get off the plane, and they're speaking Dominican to me, these people, and I can speak a little Spanish. So I said, "Yo soy policía en Nueva York. Yo tiene un taxi o coche para transportar al Casa de Campo." I'm talking to a cop in uniform with a sergeant stripes on, right?
Right.
The cab drivers start beating him up.
Start beating the cop
Yeah,
up?
they're grabbing him, pushing him, trying to knock him out of the way because they want to take the ride. And I want this guy, because he's figured he's a cop, he's going to mediate for me and get me the right price. Because I
Right.
know they're going to look to take take advantage of the gringo from America. Anyway, I end up fucking paying hand and fist for this ride. But in the interim, some guy steps over to me, the guy that was on the plane with me, and says, "Hey, how you doing? What are you guys doing? Where you going?" And I'm like, "What, you here on vacation too?" And we're talking back and forth. "I'm going to see this buddy of mine, yeah, Diaz. He's a bodega owner in East New York." And the guy's like, "Oh, really? Where's he live?" I go, "I don't know, someplace in La Romana," or whatever I said. Turns out it was the DEA. They fucking followed me on the plane.
How did you not automatically assume that?
Because
Like, as soon
I'm
as
a
you said,
sociable
I'm
guy.
talking to this
See,
guy,
you know what?
I'm like,
Because you saw the movie,
oh,
okay?
Christ.
You saw the movie.
I guess that's what the problem is. I'm looking at it.
You're looking at
Hindsight
it from
is
the
2020.
movie. And I'm fucking 27,
Maybe I'm more
28 years old.
paranoid than you.
Yeah.
Well, I'm 48. If
Yeah.
I was 28, I probably would have told him everything
That's
too.
what I'm saying. I'm down there. Look, I'm on vacation. I'm there to have a good time.
Right.
You know, and I'm just looking for like a friendly face in the crowd.
Right.
You know, and he speaks Dominican, and don't worry, I'll take care of you. He says,
Right.
"I'll get you where you got to go." I said, "Great." So
The DEA guy says, "I'll get you where you
well,
want
I
to go."
didn't know it was fucking DEA.
Oh, fucking Christ.
So anyway, we end up in the car. We get we get all the way to this El Casa de Campo. I think it took 3 different ways to get there. So we finally get there, and they put us in this house with 4 different couples.
What?
Like we're sharing a fucking house with somebody now.
Okay.
No one's there.
Who are these other people?
I don't know them.
Okay.
I want a lovers retreat for the weekend.
Right.
And they got me in a house, like for people that want to go camping and hang out together and sweat or something. I don't know. So I look around. I go, "There's 4 other couples in this fucking house. Like I'm sharing a kitchen. I'm sharing this. And I'm like, I'm not here for this."
Right.
So they drive us back to. I said, "No, get me out of here." So now they drive us back to this little retreat right by the beach. Get in there. Everything's good. Have a nice time. And I'm calling at him every night. I'm in your country, bro. I fucking, like, do you see how I'm here, Joe? I'm in L.A., Joe.
Right.
I live in Long Island. I'm here. I don't fuck around. I'm coming, right? So I tell Diaz, I'm here. He goes, his wife, he won't answer the phone. His wife says, he's playing basketball. Now, if you saw Diaz in the film, he's 5'3". I don't, maybe he's shorter than 5'3", but he's cute. He's 5'3" and cute. So I go, okay, that's 10:30 at night.
I heard Prince is really good at basketball.
What's he use his lips?
It was on the Charlie Murphy talked about it.
So this guy's playing basketball. So I'm calling him every day and every night. Now I'm a little annoyed. I'm in your country.
Right.
Okay. I'm here.
Okay.
You know, show respect. Show up. Right.
Right.
Plus the fact that you owe me fucking like $14,000 right now. I'm getting a little nervous. Maybe more. 3 weeks, 4 weeks pay. I'm talking about myself. You know.
Right.
So I'm a little annoyed. But I'm spending $1,000, $1,500 come see you for a reason. Actually, $4,000 by the time I figured the trip out. Fucking. Anyway, so he's playing basketball. It's midnight. I call his fucking house. Now I'm mad. Midnight, I'm bringing his fucking phone. His wife answers the phone at midnight. Mike, he's playing basketball. I said, you got to be fucking kidding me. It's midnight. He's 5'3". How much basketball could he possibly be playing? I'm in his country. I said, this is fucking disrespectful. Tell him I said that. I don't know if you're going to have someone hit me, kill me. I don't fucking know. I'm pissed.
Right.
I don't. At this point, who cares, right? Anyway, we turn around, we leave. We're getting ready to get on the plane. About an hour before the plane, I'm staying in this El Emperador Hotel in the center of Santo Domingo, and there's a casino downstairs. I love to fucking gamble, right? Atlantic City, every time we hit a big load, we hit Atlantic City, so I'm in the casino. The lights go out in the casino. I got like 20 minutes. I put American money and Dominican money. I used American. I hit them for like 600-800 large. Right? In like 10 minutes. They want to stab me. They don't want to let me leave. They're trying to hold me feet there. I got to catch a fucking plane like, I don't know. It's a 40-minute ride from where I am, so I got to get going now. They're like, you're cashing in? I go, yeah, let me go. They got flashlights on the table because the lights go out like every hour or two. They go out for like 15 minutes. The casino's not, back then they did. So they stand there with flashlights making sure everybody's money's not getting stolen or robbed from them. I cash out and I leave, get on the plane and come back home. So I get home. On the way home, I get strip searched in the airport. Now, you got to be kidding me. Coming from the Dominican Republic, there's nothing but packages with people with ropes and cardboard boxes.
Right.
I got luggage, like real luggage, you know? These people have stamps on the side, yayo, on the fucking side of their boxes coming in, right? You know, the women's have their thighs cut open so they can stuff packages of fucking Coke in their thighs, right? But I'm coming in with a little bag and a little, my little guinea tea, whatever the fuck I'm wearing, coming from Dominica, and I'm getting strip searched in the airport. So I'm looking around and I'm saying, this is fucking some setup. Anyway, it's a setup.
Right.
Now it's Mike Dowd is finally waking up, you know?
Right.
And I go, it's that fucking I didn't know his name. I thought it's that Tratbaum. His name is fucking Tromboli. I go, it's that fucking Tratbaum. I know it is. Anyway, gets strip searched. She gets cavity searched. I broke up with her on the plane.
Searched.
I broke up with her on the plane.
On the plane?
Yeah, on the way back. Because my wife said, okay, go have fun. Come back. We'll talk.
Right. So on the way back, you're like, look, this
it's
ain't
a
going to
great
work
vacation. Yeah, but, you know.
I'm going back to my wife.
I'm going home where I belong.
Right.
Anyway, so, yeah, she's distraught. Now she's getting bent over. I just fucked her, and now these people are fucking her, you know? So it's horrible. I mean, we're laughing because, you know, life is, you know, horrible, you know?
Well, after the fact, it's
After
hilarious.
the fact. Yeah, right, exactly. So, anyway, so we get home and whatever. We do our last deeds, and outside the fucking sub. I didn't want to tell her. Someone was outside fucking taking our license plate numbers down. They had flashlights on the inspection stickers for our cars. Internal Affairs was outside, you know, marking the locations and the times and everything else that I was at the house. I didn't want to tell her. I spook her. So anyway, a week goes by, 2 weeks go by, whatever it was. Finally, I'm at Barron's shop, Auto Sound City, where this whole thing basically centers around. And Adam's there. And I want to fucking, I don't know if to bite him, kick him, hug him, or stab him. I want to kill him.
Right.
Mike, what the fuck? I was in your country. What the fuck is wrong with you? He goes, the DEA had your phones while you were in Dominican Republic. He said, they tapped you, they followed you. He said, I was warned by the Dominican Police Department to stay the fuck away from you.
Wow.
You think you would have sent a pigeon or something? Send me a message?
Well, he probably couldn't. Probably couldn't trust anybody. Well, it's probably one of those situations where what can you do if you know that you're being tapped and you know that they're watching? It's probably best to just play basketball.
Well, that's what he was doing. Playing basketball the whole
That's
time.
what you got to do sometimes. Just lay low and hope that he sees you. It makes sense.
Yeah, well, he's a smart guy.
Well, how did you avoid getting killed? That's what is most shocking. That you were involved with. I mean,
Listen, you go into a ring, you think you're coming out, right?
yeah.
That's it. Same
So,
thing. just
do
do
you
it.
realize now, like, we're looking back on it, like, Jesus fucking Christ, like, I came really close.
Well, the more serious affront that I faced was that guy Cello that's mentioned in the documentary. And why I say that is it's not because at any moment something could have gone wrong in any deal, you know. Because at some point I began purchasing the coke from these guys because they couldn't constantly front you fucking kilos because they loved you, you know.
Right.
And I could no longer provide them protection because they took my guns and badge away. Actually, I surrendered it. Let's keep it real. I surrendered my gun and badge
Why did you surrender it?
because I was trying to get off the job on a psycho disability.
Psycho disability?
Yeah, you know, I mean, it makes sense.
Right.
But they gave me my guns back. This was what's ruinous.
They gave it to you back. They go, nope, we
Nope.
did an investigation. We decided you're
good.
A-okay.
You're good. And I'm reading the fucking papers. You don't even know. This is surreal. I'm reading see this piece of paper I have here? On this piece of paper, there's a guy. He's about 90 years old. This is no joke. Not written on here, but there's a 90-year-old guy. He's the head shrink in the whole New York City Police Department. He's got this dossier in front of him. He leaves it out, and I'm in there to get my gun and badge back. He's 90, so he turns around. He's got to go about, 50 feet this way, open a locker with a lock on it, take my gun and my badge and give it back to me. So I'm sort of like doing a neck twist and curl, and it says 4 or 5 separate allegations for selling narcotics out of a red Corvette. And this guy's giving me back my gun and badge. I'm like, this is fucking unbelievable. This is the first time I ever saw it officially in writing, what they had me under investigation for. There's 19 different fucking listed investigations, but 4 specifically at one period of time from like 86, 87, 88, specifically laid out week after week what they were looking for me for. I'm like, and this is from a red Corvette, so I knew exactly what time that was. I only had the red Corvette for a short period as well. So I'm like, I can't believe they gave me my shit back. I mean, this is now I know I'm scared. I don't now. What do you do?
Do you think that they were giving you shit back so that you could keep doing what you were doing to catch you on more shit? Was that the idea behind it?
They don't ever want to catch you.
Really?
They don't ever want to catch you. They want you to stop at that point. You understand?
So they don't want to catch you because if they catch you, it fucks with the whole department.
Yeah, it's a black eye for everybody.
Okay.
Which is true, and it's hard. Listen, what I did was not good. We know that, right? We're just talking about it right now.
Do you know that, what was it, Tamir Rice, is that the kid's name? The 12-year-old kid that got shot? They decided that it was okay, that there was nothing wrong. The investigation showed there was nothing wrong with the way the officer acted. Got out of his car within 2 seconds, shot this 12-year-old kid who had a gun, fake gun, toy gun.
Joe, a lot of these things that you mention, I don't know all the facts on. I'm not here to bash what cops do, because what they do is an impossible job, right? The problem is that everybody makes mistakes, and when you're a cop and you make a mistake, it can cost somebody their life.
Yeah.
And that's the reality, And if you ask me, is there other solutions and other alternatives? I say absolutely. Give a cop the body cameras, give them more body cameras. Why not? I mean, everybody else is filming you. You might as well be the one filming it.
Yeah, the problem was this story. I mean, it's a totally unrelated story, but this story was on camera.
I caught a little glimpse of some stuff, Joe. I try not to pass judgment because I'm not the one there. Yeah. I've been in hundreds of... listen, in East New York, I pull my gun out every day. I probably pull my gun out 15 times a day.
Really?
And I never shot anybody.
So you pulled your gun out to warn people? You pulled your gun out to be careful?
Let them know that this is serious and that I need to know where your hands are right now.
Right.
Your hands are my threat.
Right.
And if I don't see your hands and you don't comply with me with your hands, then I may have to kill you.
Right.
May have to. I don't want to.
Right.
But I'm letting you know.
It's amazing that you never shot anybody.
Yeah. Close. A couple of times. I actually almost shot a cop once.
Really?
Yeah.
Undercover?
Yeah, undercover.
Jesus.
He was beating up some kid. He had a gun on a kid. And I told him to drop his gun. He wouldn't drop his gun. I was with Kenny that time. He could probably tell the story as well because he remembers everything perfectly. But
Do you talk to that guy anymore, Kenny?
Not really. We're not, but we don't have a good relationship. Let's put it that way.
I would imagine that would be a strain on the friendship when a guy puts you away for 12 years.
It's not even that anymore. It's more the way he's handled things since then. He's just, listen, I don't begrudge him for what happened to his life. He made decisions in his life based on more than just his own freedom, okay? His wife's freedom was at stake as well, okay? His children's being put into a foster home possibility was there because, you know.
Right. I understand.
Dory was directly involved in certain things, his wife.
You two together on a podcast would be fucking epic.
Well, we tried Artie's we couldn't do together. Did you know?
Why?
We worked on Artie's. We wouldn't sit in the same room. I listen because I really don't want to give him the credibility that he does not deserve because he continually. We're at odds over certain things and
Aspects of the story.
certain aspects of the story, and when I confront him, and he just says, "Well, you're a liar." You know, what do I have to lie about? What do I have to fucking lie about?
Right.
I'm the guy who did the fucking time. I
Right.
have nothing to lie about. If you remember things differently than I, that's fine, you know. But the reality is, you know, I'm just going to touch on it briefly. This kidnapping / murder / whatever, execution / bullshit thing at the end. We weren't going to the woman's house to do that, okay?
You
We were
weren't.
going to the woman's house to survey her house. He insisted that we walk up to the front door. I said, what are you out of your fucking mind? That's not even in the plan. That doesn't make the tapes. That's not even in the plan, Kenny. Yeah, well, I'm not driving all the way here and not going up to that front door. First of all, that shouldn't even be a discussion because we're not going up to the front door. There's other people involved in this that are going to go in and come
Didn't
out.
they get you on recording saying that you had to get rid of this woman?
He said that. What you don't hear is what he's saying for 20 minutes, 30 minutes, saying they're going to execute him, Mike. You know they're going to execute. I'm like, who? Who's going to execute him? The Colombians, he keeps saying. I'm like, first of all, where are the Colombians? Second of all, they're not here. And third of all, whatever. We throw, whatever. I want to get past the conversation because I sense he's fucking taping it.
You sensed that?
I sense it. I've asked him numerous times, Kenny, you wearing a wire? Come on, just tell me the truth. So
Was this before he was wearing a wire? You thought he was wearing a wire?
no, while he was wearing a wire.
So you knew when shit was going down that
It wasn't making sense, so I kept saying to him, you wearing a wire? No, Mike, I would never do that to you. I'm like, I want to believe this guy, you know? I want to believe him.
it should be one of those things like, remember in those old stupid TV shows where you'd have to say, you'd ask a cop, are you a cop? And they would have to tell you. You remember that?
Well,
people fucking believe that, which is goddamn hilarious.
Well,
you know, if you just ask him if he's a cop, they got to tell you. Like,
Yeah, right.
what
Yeah,
kind
right.
of
Good luck.
fucking fantasy
Good luck
land
with
you're
that
living
one.
in?
Good luck with that one. Yeah.
That's goddamn hilarious.
Actually, a cop is allowed to do a bump if he has to stay alive.
Well, they're allowed in Hawaii to fuck prostitutes.
Well, that's good. I'm on a job there.
Did you hear that? That's true. It's a recent thing. They made a recent decision that police officers in Hawaii are allowed to have sex with prostitutes on the job as a part of an ongoing investigation.
Well, because they can't get enough on their own? I mean, come on.
Well, because they have to find out things, and the
Yes, I understand.
prostitutes
I understand
won't
the
trust
details.
them unless they fuck them.
You got to fuck me, and then we can talk.
Yeah, that's how they work.
Okay, like
It's
I
intimacy.
said, let's go there. We'll open up
Intimacy.
our own private detective agency.
Well, undercover women wind up fucking drug dealers and stuff all the time, right? It's a dark secret, isn't it? Or at least it is in movies.
Well, they could have got me pretty easily that way, then, couldn't they? Why didn't they do that?
Yeah, why did they send Kenny in there?
Yeah. They could have sent any hot
Get some
Latino
chick
broad.
with a
in
tape
there.
recorder in her pussy.
Yeah, she just had to have it in the neighborhood. I would have been done. Just send in one of those little, dime packages and.
Well, the tape recorders back then, though, were fucking giant, monstrous VCR-looking things.
Could you imagine?
Right?
And I didn't check them because I was too proud. Like, you wouldn't do that to me. Oh. And my brother says to me, Mike, did you toss him? I go, yeah. I didn't.
Wow.
And thank God I didn't that day because, thank God. I mean, what's the difference? I'm doing my time either way, you know?
Right. But what if you'd killed him or something? Or what if you
that
guys
would have
had
been
gotten...
messy.
Yeah,
That would have been
or-
messy. Thank
Well,
God.
even if
In other words, thank God I didn't find out.
Yeah. Well, anything could have happened,
Right,
and
you
then
don't
it would
know.
have been assault and violence involved.
Right. Now it would have been
Right.
another level to something else, and you threatened a witness. How the fuck did I know he was a witness till a minute ago?
Right. Exactly. That's the sneaky thing about it. Now,
Yeah.
you went away for 12 years?
I was sentenced to 14 years. I took a plea agreement that was 10 to life. Okay?
That's the plea.
That was the plea. 10
So
to life.
how does that work when
First,
they say
offered,
10 to
they
life?
offered me 24 to 30.
Ooh.
That was my first offer. I called my lawyer. What the fuck? Did I kill somebody? He goes, well, that's just the way the federal government is. I said, that's nice. So 24 to 30 was my first offer. Now, what pisses me off is here's a guy He doesn't realize what he just did to a guy who he was eating in my house today, a couple weeks ago. You know? And now he, doesn't realize that instead of just doing our time together, like just take the. Let me backtrack a little bit,
Right? Okay.
And we'll try to remember that where we were.
Okay.
When we were out on bail, Kenny had some options, as I did, to either cooperate with the government and give everything up and just go on and do your merry little bit in your life, whatever. It might have not been too little. It might have been more. So I get offered a shrimp boat trip. A job in Nicaragua to run a shrimp boat.
Shrimp boat.
Yeah, they offer.
Who the fuck is offering you a shrimp?
Yeah, the owner of the Astoria Hotel Astoria Manor in Astoria, Queens. He's got a catering hall with a bunch of weddings, and most weddings they love to have shrimp at every wedding. He has 11 rooms in the catering hall, so he's got 11 people, sometimes twice a day, filtering shrimp through his business. So he says, "Listen, Mike, you're going away for a long period of time." He said, so I got an option for you. I need a shrimp boat captain in Nicaragua. You want to go? I went, I'm in. So, I'm looking for anything to grab onto at that point in my life. And I go home and I'm like, I give Kenny a call. I said, Kenny, listen, I want to talk to you. Mike, I don't know if we should talk. I said, Ken, let's meet and talk. So we have a conversation. And he says, Mike, I got a pension. I got a wife and a kid. He says, I'm not giving that shit up to go shrimp. If I have to do a little bit, I have to do it. Fine. He says, but I'm not giving it all up to go shrimp boat fishing in Nicaragua. I said, okay. Done. Story done. Case closed. Done. Never happened.
Okay.
3-4 days later, maybe less, 2 days later, the phone rings. Mike, I'm interested in going fishing. I go, what are you talking about, fishing? So he comes to see me. He says, now, I see the fucking DEA over here. I see something over here. I see everybody. I'm being followed. I go, what are you talking about? He goes, I want to go fishing. Remember the fishing trip you were talking about last week? I go, what fishing trip? Fucking, the marlin fishing trip? What fishing trip? He won't say the word. Shrimp boat in Nicaragua.
Why?
Well, it has to come from me.
Why does it have to come from you?
Because if you're working for the government at this point, you can't be the one that entraps the person.
Oh.
It has to come out of my mouth.
So him saying
let's go
fishing trip.
Let's go fishing. Yeah.
Right. So he wants you to, because he wants you to say, I'm going to skip the country.
Correct. He wants me to say, you mean, like I do,
Right.
the shrimp boat job in Nicaragua?
Right.
Yes. He goes, yes. He jumps up out of his fucking chair. I'm like, look, what the fuck are you so excited about? And now I know something's wrong.
What a shitty actor.
Yeah, he's ridiculous. So now I go, okay, something's not right. And I start finding the fucking setup everywhere around me. And he's opening the window in his car. His hair's perfectly coiffed. I said, Kenny, what are you opening the window for? The fucking air conditioner's on. It's 95 degrees out. Your hair's going to get messed. Oh, no. Anyway, he disputes that. Why would he dispute that? Anyway, so now think of what just happened. He's now come back to me and says he wants to go on the shrimp boat trip.
Right.
He goes home. I go home. I said, listen, it's a good idea. We need $500,000 plus because I can't leave my family broke. All their houses are up for fucking bail. 2 days go by, and some Colombian calls me up and says, I need $500,000 of this. I need $500,000 recovered and 10 kilos from this woman's house in Jamaica or in Avon.
Same number.
Just what I need. Exactly what I needed.
Right.
So.
You're suspicious.
Yeah.
I'm
a little suspicious as well. But I can't believe God is good, I'm saying. He's great. Look what he's doing
So
for me.
you really believed it?
They played it off well. So, and I'm looking for anything. You gotta realize I'm desperate.
Are you doing coke at the time?
No.
Okay.
Six weeks clean.
Wow.
Well, I was in jail. So I was out on bail. And no one would sell anything to me. So I tried to pick up a package. My own dealer wouldn't sell it to me.
Wow.
So,
that's when times are tough.
Yeah, they're all
When
running.
a coke dealer won't
When
sell
my own
you blow.
guy. My own guy. So.
Too hot, man.
Yeah.
I'm not going to go to Yale.
Yeah, I'm not going to Yale. So I end up in a discussion with him, and this thing presents itself, and he's all over it now. Yeah, I want to go. Whoa, Kenny, you didn't want to go before. He says, yeah, but now I want to go. Like, he's like fucking screaming it. I'm like, okay, it sounds a little odd. Are you wearing a wire? No. Okay, just checking.
Casual.
Just checking. Anyway, so on and on and on we went, and eventually the sting was sad, and this thing turned into what it turned into, and it is what it is.
Well, you dispute it in the film. You say that you...
Yeah, but I dispute the premise of the beginning of the whole process. With the woman, there's a controversy back and forth. I never saw her, never met her, never intended to touch her myself, personally, ever. Now, how she was going to get in my car, bagged and gagged and whatever, I don't fucking know. Okay? But the fact is that we weren't supposed to do anything to her.
So for people who listen to this that haven't seen the documentary, it was sort of like a last thing that you guys could do to make a shitload of money.
Mm-hmm.
And it involved kidnapping a woman who would eventually be murdered. Well, this is in the film,
yes,
right?
It's horrible.
Yeah.
But
But
all these eventuals,
how much
all these
were you
eventuals are
willing-
nothing that I never had anything to do with the eventuals. I never knew them. He knew them.
Right.
And they spoke Spanish, so how the fuck did Kenny know what they were saying?
Right.
I don't know. Maybe the government translated for him.
So, but what part, if any, were you playing in or anticipating
I was going to
playing?
take the money from a woman's house. Come on. You could do that in your sleep. Take the money from a woman's house and the drugs and go home. Split it up with the Colombians and go. Somehow along the way, whether it be the government fishing, Kenny fishing, someone pushing, this woman was going to go from being money that wasn't hers. It was a drug dealer's money that was killed.
Right.
Her husband was a Dominican drug dealer who was killed.
Uh-huh.
By whom? I can't answer that question. But the fact is that he had $500,000 in cash in that home, according to the setup people, and 10 kilos. And we can take it all and split it down the middle, and you'll have your money. You can leave the country. I mean, very convenient.
Very. Yeah, very
What an
convenient.
asshole I was, right?
Wow, what a crazy scenario, though. So, and that
So it went from shaking down street drug dealers for a couple hundred a day to,
But see, that's
to
like
this.
an attempted murder. That's a whole conspiracy.
What, are you trying to get me a new charge?
No, I'm
Oh,
not. But I'm saying, like, they obviously couldn't pin that on you. Otherwise, you would have went away for a lot longer than 12 years.
Okay, so you answered
Right?
You answered the
Yeah.
question.
So, but it seems like that was something they were trying to concoct to make everything a lot more severe.
Correct.
Okay. Now, when you go away, think about how many years you were involved in actual crime. How many years do you think you were involved as a cop committing crime?
Well, every time you put the uniform on and you don't do the right thing, you pretty much commit a crime.
Right.
And you have a gun on you.
So how many years was that about?
I'd say a solid 5.
A solid 5 years.
Yeah.
So it's not that bad to go away for 12.
No,
for a
no. I
solid
mean, you want to
5
minimize
years.
my sentence now? I mean, every day is a long
No.
fucking day. Come on.
I'm sure, but I was going to bring that up too. But what is it like when you go in there? I mean, first of all, you're a cop. They know you're a cop.
Yeah, everywhere I went, they knew.
What is that?
I was the
like?
first person they knew on the compound when I hit the compound.
And what is that?
It's like having 1,800 men times 2, because they each got 2 eyes, most of them, not all. So you have 3,600 eyes on you, never mind the 600 staff in there watching you 24/7.
Watching you, threatening you?
You know, you eyeball someone, it could be a threat, right? You're in a fight game. You know,
Yeah.
eyes can mean either compliance, or fuck you, and then it's up to you. How do you want to handle
But
this?
did they think of you as almost one of them because you were also involved in crime?
There was a strange relationship. Many of them wished that they were me because they would love to have had that power. I mean,
Right.
dozens, if not hundreds, have said, "Man, I wish I was a fucking cop." All right. I mean, really? Do you really?
It's like having
why? Well, you would have
superpowers
saved
if
the
you're a
world.
criminal.
Yes. Well, if you see in a film, it felt like you were God.
Right.
You could do anything you wanted. It was horrible.
Well, that's what was my point about having that kind of power. You
But
know?
in prison, you have none.
Right.
You're the least one they want. You and the child molesters. That's
So is that how they lump you in? They
right in
lump-
the same category.
Wow.
Yeah. So basically, when they say I walked the yard by myself for 12, other than Mickey Monday, who came up to me and said hello to me.
Who is Mickey Monday?
He's that blonde-haired guy from the Cocaine Cowboys. You ever see that?
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, he's my buddy.
That's my friend Billy Corbin's documentary. Both of them.
Yeah.
Cocaine Cowboys 1 and 2. That guy's your buddy?
Yeah,
You went to jail with him?
I got a picture of him.
The two of you
we were
together must have had
we
some
were together last
fucking
week.
great stories.
We were together last week in Miami.
Jesus
I was in
Christ.
Miami in his favorite fucking greasy spoon spot down there.
Oh, he's out too?
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah. I was sitting there with this guy, John Cardillo, who does a radio show on iHeartRadio down there out of Fort Lauderdale. He and I, he's a retired cop, and he's a great host on the show, and we're talking about maybe doing something together too as well.
Wow.
The good cop, bad cop show.
That sounds like a great idea.
I would be fucking pissed.
First of all, if you don't have a podcast, there's a fucking crime being committed right now. You should absolutely.
I don't know how to do one.
It's fucking easy as shit. Jamie will tell you. It's easy.
I don't know. It's easy. He's sweating over there.
Well, this is a way more complex setup than anybody really needs. I mean,
Yeah.
we only do it this way because it's kind of fun to have video of
Are
it.
we live streaming?
Yeah.
Oh, we're live right
yeah,
now?
we're live right now. Yeah.
How's my hair look?
You look great. How's mine look?
Oh, wonderful. It's easy.
I wish I'd done this when I was 20.
Yeah.
But the point is, like, all you need is a little MP3 recorder. If we had a little recorder that's like the size of a cell phone, like this, like I've
Almost
done
the size
a
of
bunch of them.
The size of Kenny's recorder.
Well, no, if he wishes he had something this small back then. But I've done a few of them just with my iPhone. We just set it down on a table, and the microphones in these things are really good.
Yeah.
You could do it, and then you upload it. It doesn't. It's fucking easy as shit.
Yeah, but I need someone like you to feed off of. I'm not. You know.
Yeah, but you just get it. You just find somebody. You
Just find
it's
somebody
not
in the
hard.
street.
I'm telling
I should
you.
get one of the guys that I shook down.
You could do that. You could.
Funny story. I'm at the one of the premieres. I did a lot of those.
That's a great idea, actually.
I'm at a premiere, and I see these guys come walking up, and they look a little haggard, you know, and they're looking at me with that like sheepish like look, and like, you know, I'm like a semi-star of the thing, so I got to look all proper and everything, and looking, you know, all erudite. Is that? You know, and up comes these guys. They look like they're from the street, you know.
Right.
So they got their hats on sideways, half their teeth are missing, and the guy sticks his hand out and he goes, "Mike." I go, "Yeah, who are you?" He goes, I used to hang out on Pickin and Norwood, or Pickin and not Norwood because Norwood doesn't meet it, but Pickin and Crescent and Pickin and Chestnut." And I'm like, "Okay." He goes, "Yeah, you used to shake me down." I'm like, "Oh, really?"
Oh, Jesus.
He goes, "But we both made it." Like, it was like almost a fucking initial a bond that you couldn't imagine. Like,
Right.
Like, in other words, I did my bid, whatever he did, you know, 30 fucking years later, he's shaking my hand, like,
Wow.
at a movie premiere thing. It was just, and he was like, "We're proud of you." I don't know if that makes sense. But
Wow.
like, "We're proud of you. You lived through it. Look at us." Like, only like 10 people lived through it, you know?
Right.
Those three and me and a couple other people.
So, in a sense, well, you're both survivors, in a sense.
Right. And there was respect.
Yeah.
There was respect. It was nice to see.
That's bizarre, right?
I tell you, a couple cops came up to me. They really didn't like it, but they came up and hugged me and said, "Hey, man, you made it. You know, go on with your life." Which really, to me, you know, I have to be honest with you. You know, you're still a cop in your heart. You know, you're a fighter. You're a fighter in your heart. You know that. You know, it's respect.
That's what a strained relationship between you and the other cops.
Well, you give up your whole community.
Yeah.
You know, when you fuck up like I did, you know, and my whole family is involved in it. You know, the police department, fire department. So you destroyed your relationship with that whole community, and that's how you grew up. So I basically destroyed every fabric of who I am. You know.
But then again, they have to watch that documentary and be fucking entertained.
They loved it. I've had people come to me. You know, listen. It was back then, you know.
Yeah.
So now they know, and they know who
Right.
I am as a human being. I really mean good. I don't always do good, but I do mean well. So.
Right. Well, like I said, if I was 23 years old and I was living where you're living and doing that job, I probably would have been right there with you. I probably would have.
You're 1 in 1,000 that have said the same exact words. So is it some comfort? Maybe it is. There's some comfort in that.
Well, there's this. I used to have this different look about people. I used to say, well, you know, you're responsible for your own actions, which in a sense you absolutely are.
Right.
But there's also this concept that all of your own actions and whoever you are, in a lot of ways, are determined by your environment, by how you grew up, by what situation you find yourself in, by the circumstances you find yourself in that situation.
Yeah.
And there's a lot going on there. And then there's the fun.
There was a lot of fun.
That's a fucking problem.
I have to say, you know.
That's when I was watching that documentary, I was like, this guy looks like he's having a great fucking time.
I don't know if that's a good thing.
It's not a good thing.
Yeah,
It's not a good thing.
It's not, but I did.
But here's the thing, right? One of the things you alluded to is like, who's bringing the fucking drugs into that community? You know, who's bringing the drugs into the country? And I hate to go all crazy conspiracy theory,
Yeah, I
but
know,
the reality is there were a bunch of rogue agents.
CIA
Yeah.
agents were bringing
There's
it in.
a bunch of
with
rogue
Ollie
agents.
North's
Yeah.
crew. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, Ollie North's crew, fucking...
The Mena Airport out of Arkansas,
Mena,
with Bill
Arkansas.
Clinton's family
Yep.
was involved. I was in jail with his cousin.
Yeah, what was the guy that got killed? The Barry Seals. Barry Seals, who was the pilot. There's all these photographs of him with all these Colombian drug lords, and this guy, he was murdered on his way to testify. He had George Bush's phone number in his fucking pocket when he was killed. There's a lot of fucking shit going on with this. There's so much money involved in drugs.
Right. That's why I'm for total legalization, not decriminalization of all narcotics, everything, because you make criminals out of people that are generally not criminals.
Yes.
There's just a lot of money in it. I mean,
Yeah.
a guy goes to school, becomes a stockbroker. He finds out that the real money isn't being criminal. Instead of making his 60, 70, or 100,000, he wants to make $6 million. So he has to be a criminal. So, and that's a choice he made, though. He made that choice. But being exposed to the opportunity, people find out who they really can become.
Yes.
Or we I like to say, you're not what you've done. It's what you've become afterwards, though. Like someone hurts somebody, in a moment of rage or something, or inadvertently does something, or they go out of their way to do something because for whatever the deriving reasons are. So they're forever defined by that act.
Yes.
But that's not necessarily who someone is.
Well, people love to forever define people by that act because they in some way are very happy it's not them.
Right.
And so they want to say, you're a piece of shit forever.
Right.
I write you off forever.
Right. How many people did what I did, got away with it, and are throwing fucking stones at me?
A lot.
Okay.
I'm sure.
Okay. Listen, go back into the histories in the last, from between, let's go 85 to 95. Every single, call it ghetto precinct, because that's what it's called in the police world. Every single ghetto precinct had a scandal very similar to mine, except maybe not to the depth like you had initially said, like when I really got into the paying and straight out dealing with the guys.
Well, let's be honest. You're an all-star. You were an all-star in the world of corruption.
Thank you so much.
It's what it's like. It's like, there's guys that take it to the next level. I mean, not everybody can be Ronda Rousey. You know what I'm saying? Not everybody can be John Jones.
You had her last night on TV.
Guys take it to the next level, and you took it to the next level in the world of police corruption.
My mother and my children are quite proud of that.
But you know what I'm saying? I mean, whenever you have any sort of an act, whether it's a guy who's a marijuana dealer or a guy who's a fucking bow hunter, you're going to have people that just take it to the ultimate. They take it to the furthest extreme. And that's what you did as a corrupt cop.
Yeah, I just found ways to continue to get better.
So, like, when you say,
better?
like,
Is that better? Is
a
that
guy
right?
like Serpico, like, you think he's a piece of shit or you think he's a...
Well, you know what? I have nothing personal against him.
I know,
but
just, you understand.
I wouldn't hang out with him, for any period of time.
But you kind of dabbled in that when I turned on the guy with the gold chains.
I found out that it wasn't good.
Right.
Right, and quickly went back to being a criminal. One, it paid better, and two, it was a lot more fun.
Now, when you go away, okay, and you're in that, what prison did you go to?
I was in several. I started out in MCC, New York. I did 2 years there, waiting to be sentenced.
So that's a state?
It's all federal.
All federal.
I was federal, and then it's not the camp that you think it is, by the way. And then I was sent out to Marianna, Florida, and
that's nice weather.
It was 105 in the summer.
Did you get to go outside?
Oh yeah. No, what happened was I was in isolation for 9 months.
9 months.
In total isolation in MCC, New York. And
what is that like?
It's the worst thing in the world. It's total deprivation, sensory deprivation, everything.
Is the lights on all the time?
Not always, but depending upon the location you're at, sometimes they keep a light on so that they can see you.
Wow.
So but
what does it feel like?
The worst thing about being in isolation is your loss of interpersonal skills, which I don't know if I have any anyway. But just when you pass people like in a physical manner, you don't know whether they're going to stab you, or you should stab them. You should hug them. You should shake their hand. It's total. It's hard to explain, but it's like that physical presence of another person next to you in your space. I mean, you're a fighter. You're a cop. Someone gets in a certain space, you need to protect yourself.
Right.
Well, being a convict / inmate / prisoner, when someone steps in your personal space, of course, you need to check them. But when you're in isolation, you don't know what it is. Like your personal space becomes whatever you can grasp,
right?
Whatever you can control. So when I was first, example was when I first passed somebody. We had a room, let's say the size of your studio here, and he was out on the floor and I was out on the floor at the same time, which is very odd in my situation because I wasn't around anybody. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to respond to his presence in my world.
And he was another guy that was also in solitary?
For a short period of time. He just got in trouble for something. But at that point, I was probably at that moment, probably 5 or 6 months when I was.
So 5 or 6 months with no contact except when they feed you?
Right.
And when they feed you, they talk to you?
No, they throw the food through a slot and you go.
No one says anything to you?
Very little. Very little interaction. How are you today? Yeah,
that's
good.
It.
I'm good. Great. I just finished another book.
Right. So that's the entire extent of your human interaction for 9 months.
Essentially, yes. You do get visits once a week or something like that for an hour with your family members.
Wow.
And that's, it's a little different because, it's a warm thing, but people that are criminals and convicts in the same, you're not really touchy, lovey-feely type thing,
Right.
So you don't know how to respond,
Yeah, I would imagine, didn't Bradley Manning, I think he was in for 2 years plus before he became Chelsea Manning, right? 2 years plus solitary, no interaction with anyone, and I believe no clothes because they were worried about him killing himself.
Hanging himself.
Yeah. Or herself. I don't know when. When does the transition? When do you officially say him or her?
Yeah,
I don't know.
I don't know.
Either way, but I've heard it argued that you go insane. If you leave someone alone for 2 or 3 years and there's no interaction at all with other people, you might as well just fucking shoot.
Yeah,
them.
I saw guys used to sleep underneath their bed, put the mattress on top of their bed and sleep underneath it. Underneath, the bed would hang up the wall or something.
Why?
I don't know. I didn't want to ask them.
Wow.
It was just that's what their life became.
You become insane.
Yeah, Pappy Mason is one of the guys that he killed a cop and was responsible for the killing of Eddie Burns, I think, one of the officers that was executed, and he used to sleep under his bed. It was part of the fact that he wanted to be known to be psycho rather than be responsible for what he did.
So he was doing things
but then it became him.
Ooh.
Yeah. It's horrible. And his dreads were fucking 12 feet long. His life became whatever, I have no sympathy for what he did.
Right.
But just people, human beings in general, that's what happens when they start to go on the other side of that.
Well, the thing about the Bradley Manning case is even more fucked up is because all he did was expose crime. I mean, that was the guy who gave away the WikiLeaks documents.
Okay.
And he gave it to Julian Assange. Now they're both fucked. Julian Assange is stuck in a fucking embassy in London. He can't move. They just recently, I think in the last couple of days, they got rid of his 24-hour guards. He had guards outside the gate, making sure he didn't bolt. And now they're like, fuck the guy. He stays.
He's done. Yeah, where's he gonna go?
Stuck in this, I think, the Ecuador embassy. And so he's fucked there, and then Chelsea Manning is fucked in jail forever, and they're never going to let her out now, and that's it. And it's all exposing crime, which is even more fucked up because Julian Assange is not a criminal, Bradley Manning's not other than the crime of exposing government corruption and documents.
So I'll give you an interesting detail on one of the hundreds of stories. My boys, they do a shakedown. They robbed this bodega, which is why Chicky and Walter become my buddy. I mentioned it briefly before. So they're out on bail. Walter's living in my house, and Trimboli, one of the internal affairs detectives, is constantly at my house, surveilling my house and shit, right? And Walter, Chicky's out on bail, getting ready to do a little 9-month bid. Walter's getting ready to go upstate for 2.5 years because he was on duty. He was the police officer that was still on the job. And so I find out that they're getting ready to go to trial now. They're all putting themselves, this is prior to their pleas, they're getting ready to go to trial. So I get in touch with Barron, and I tell Barron, tell the owner of the bodega that he needs to leave the country right away because trial's coming up in a week. So Barron reaches out and tells the guy that, the cop stopped by my office today and said, you guys got to leave the country. You got to leave the country. And he says, you got to leave because things can get bad if you don't leave the country. So guy leaves the country immediately. I get a phone call from one of the guys, whether it was Walter or Chicky. He says, the fucking trial's been, but they don't know. The trial has been postponed. I said, okay, good. I don't know the details, but I know he's gone. The guy, I had him leave the country. So about 8 or 10 months later, the case is ready to fall apart. Internal Affairs goes and arrests this guy's wife or sister. She's working in some bookie spot, one of those bodegas that sells numbers, and they don't really sell food. And they arrest his wife, tell him they're going to deport her and keep her kids and put them in BCW, one of those Bureau of Child Welfare. So call your brother and tell him to get back here. I can't come back. They're going to have me killed. Blah, 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 blah. So he comes back under protection, and the trial goes forward. But the fact is that what I'm getting at, what I'm telling you is that's what you can actually do when you're a cop. if you really don't want something to happen. You could actually have that kind of control over a situation. Well, because, I mean, it wasn't them who did it. It was us who did it. We had this guy leave the country. So these are the stories that the book can lay out, or even if the movie takes a spin in that direction. I mean, there's really some intense shit that we were able to do. I mean, if a guy put a complaint in against us, we go to his house. You know, if you wanted to complain that the cops treated me unfairly or something like that. Really? You know, you got to realize what you were dealing with.
Well, that kind of shit goes on to this day. That kind
I'm
of
not
shit,
on the job.
subtle versions of that.
Yeah, I'm not going to disparage
Right.
anybody here. I'm just telling you what we were able to do back then in order to keep moving the ball forward.
Right.
You know, that's the way you could do things. You know, if a guy put what they called a civilian complaint in against, let's say, yourself, and you were either my buddy, one of my coworkers, you're not going to go to the guy's house and you know, and say anything, but you might have your friend sit in front of his house for a week
and just freak them out.
Yeah, you don't have to do anything.
Right.
I think
it's enough.
It's pretty clear.
Yeah.
And we did that to Cello, the kingpin drug dealer, and that's when he tried to threaten to kill me.
Right.
If you remember from the movie, he put a hit on me because I sat in front of his bodega because he shorted us $700. I sat in front of his bodega for a week, probably, and then he notified Barron that he put a hit out on me. I don't know if that was part of the fluff or the reality is. So Barron called me and he says, "There's a hit on you." So that's when I went and I found him the next day, and day one, whatever it was, and pulled him over and confronted him in the street. And he called the hit off and got my $700 too, which was a nice day. Kenny says I never gave him the $350. He's got to be full of shit. I mean, what? And he wasn't there. Like I said, I don't remember. You know.
Wow. Now, when you go away, okay, and you do your 9 months in solitary.
Right.
Why did they put you in solitary initially?
Cop.
Because you're a cop,
Right.
just to protect you.
Yeah.
So once you get out of solitary,
Yeah. Now you're in with everybody else.
and what is that like?
It's a little.
Yeah.
You know, should I go back? Solitary.
And is this maximum security, minimum, maximum?
High security?
So you're dealing with
Everybody. I was in there with the guys. So you named them their names. I was there with them. You know, Gotti's crew was on the 11th floor. I was on the 9th floor, the 7th floor. You know, in MCC, and so I mean, Gotti's crew, whatever. But all the gangbangers were in there that were around that time. You know, in fact, some of my good buddies. were cop impersonators. You know, they were one of those gangs that was going out, you know, basically executing. I wasn't executing anybody, but they were. You know, they were going in as cops and executing the drug dealers and taking their money.
So they were going in with lights, the whole deal.
Yeah, all
Badges.
Badges, coats, bulletproof vests, 38 Smith and Wessons, and
Killing people.
Yeah, killing people and taking their drugs. I mean, that was the '80s in it's Brooklyn and Manhattan and the Bronx.
And when you're in there and you go from solitary to
just general population.
General
You know, you
population.
got to watch your back every step of the way.
What is that? What is that like?
You know, it's like how when I was driving to work, wondering if I was getting arrested every day.
What was the first day like? The first day, like, they let you out, and now all of a sudden, do you have to share a cell with somebody?
Yeah.
Who's the guy?
I can't recall.
You don't know who you shared a cell with?
There was hundreds.
Hundreds of guys.
Yeah.
Just different guys
Different
all the time?
guys all the time. Because you're in transition. In MCC New York, you're in transition. You know, I ended up sharing a cell with Patsy Conti one time. Was one of the wise guys. You know, they try to keep the white guys with the white guys because prison's very racially, divisive. So, you know, black guys with black guys, white guys with white guys. That's how it was. You know, Spanish guys with Spanish guys. You know, so that's just the way prison is.
Now, do you have to align yourself with particular groups or anything while you're in
Listen,
there?
no one's going to align themselves with me. You know,
Right.
but the happen chance is that when you're in MCC New York, it's like 60% black guys, 35% Hispanic guys, 2% Asian, and 1% white. So
I think you're missing some numbers.
for God's sakes, don't hold me to the. Let me get my pen out. Hold on. So it was, yeah, and so like even if you were a wise guy in the street, you saw a white face, you know,
Right.
you talked whether you liked each other or not, you know.
Right, I understand.
And you know,
Yeah.
being I was young and still a little, you know, not, I was in pretty good shape at this point. Now down about a year or so and doing probably, you know,
Push-ups every
600,
day.
800 push-ups, 1,000 push-ups a day, chin-ups, dips, back bends, you know, the whole bit.
Right.
You know, now I'm at least in great shape. I'm doing the bar. I'm doing 160 pull-ups, you know, frontwards, backwards.
Mm-hmm.
And people see you moving around. They're like, okay, this isn't an easy trip.
Right, right.
No matter what you think of me, I was a cop or not, it wasn't an easy ride. So,
Right.
and then, all the older wise guys, they're feeble guys, most of them. When they
Right.
finally get arrested, most of them are banged up anyway. They're 65, 70, and,
What happens to those guys when they get in?
well, they align themselves with a young guy who does most of their bidding, and hopefully you don't have to take a knife for one of them or something like that. But, look, they got money. When you got money in prison, it's like money in the street,
And when you're in, okay, so when you go from being in solitary to general population, like, what are your days like?
Well, there's different worlds. MCC New York, you're in a jail, so you're really just inside a building, and some people have jobs, some people don't. Jobs meaning they go to the kitchen, they cook, and they provide meals for the rest of the prison. I was in like an orderly. I'd have to clean a floor, something like that. And basically sat there and waited to get sentenced. It was horrible. You sat inside a building. You come in. You look like a piece of paper. You're so white. You got no sun. You got no vitamin C or D or B or E or G, whatever the fuck the vitamins are from the sun. You got none of them. And the food's horrible. And you can't wait to get sentenced.
Right.
Because you want to go out and live a life. Now, being a sentenced prisoner opposed to a prisoner in waiting, like a bride in waiting, you finally get out.
So how long is this waiting period?
It was 2 years.
So for 2 years, so 9 months
Inside a building,
solitary,
right.
and then another year, 15 months, you're just in this jail waiting to be sentenced.
Waiting to be sentenced.
So finally you get sentenced. And then what happens?
I get put on a Learjet, which was like first class.
Really?
Yeah, I get taken from MCC New York in a limousine, a prison limousine, over to Teterboro Airport where the federal jet is, the Learjet. Me and like two other people get on this jet, and they whisk us off to
Two people.
Yeah, they whisk us off to Florida. We land in Jacksonville. We pick up some girl, I don't know. And then they whisk us west.
So this is how they transport prisoners? They put them in a federal jet?
Yeah. Yeah, but in my case.
Okay.
Yeah, because I was leaving the region.
Okay.
Yeah, they have a big bus normally.
Right.
Like they'll deposit you along the way, and then some people get moved around on different size jets. This happened to be a Lear, which is like a 4 or 5 passenger jet, which was nice. Right? I'm like a VIP. This is wonderful. This is great. I love this.
They have peanuts?
No, just
peanuts?
nuts. Lots of nuts. If you like, but no peanuts.
And so then they
Actually, there was a cute girl on the fucking plane with me. I'm like, this is good.
A prisoner? A girl prisoner?
Yeah.
How'd that work out?
I don't remember her name, but anyway, she was cute. I got to look at something.
Where's she going?
Well, she just elbowed me a little bit,
Where's she going?
I don't know. It's a woman's prison in Tallahassee.
What did she do?
I don't know. We don't
remember?
talk. We don't
You
talk.
didn't ask her questions?
Fuck no,
You
I'm
seem
not
like
an
a
interviewer.
talkative guy.
I am, but I'm fucking trying to keep my world small. When you're a guy like me in prison, you don't open your mouth. You don't talk to anybody. You don't elicit a conversation with anybody.
That had to be really difficult for you.
Very
I would imagine.
horrible. It was like pulling my tongue out and throwing it on the ground for fucking 12 years.
So you're just doing this for survival purposes?
Yeah, you just stay in your own,
safe.
stay in your own little world. Because you open yourself up, people want either in or to use things against you.
Right.
Like in the free world, but in this case, it's a microcosm.
Right.
Come back to you real quick. The way people use information against you.
Wow.
So I go from there, and then I end up in some small county jail. Which I end up with one of the guys from Cocaine Cowboy who ends up dying. A couple of them did, but this fella here is telling me, I got to get the fuck out of here. And I'm in the county jail, and there's like a piece of barbed wire around this fence. And he's telling me, there's a guy in a treehouse. There's a guy in a treehouse with a shotgun. That's it.
A shotgun?
Yeah.
That's it?
Well, that's security for this little county jail.
But only a shotgun?
Yeah, he's sitting up there with a shotgun.
How far away is he?
60, 80 feet from the barbed wire fence.
Oh.
Yeah.
They can kill you for 68.
Yeah, he'll get you. If he's not sleeping.
I'm like a shotgun.
But they're only making $10,000, $12,000 a year.
Oh.
So he's saying, and he's big money, cocaine cowboy guys. He's thinking he could have some money sent to this guy's fucking, I don't know, his mother. Who the fuck knows?
All you have to do is give the guy something that puts him out.
Yeah, some chew. Some tobacco.
You just
One
give
of these cigars.
Give him a pill that knocks him out. Like tell him you're gonna give you a
And
lot
he's
of
not
money.
responsible.
I'm gonna dummy up your drink,
and I'm going to jump.
and no one's gonna know how it happened. You're gonna wake up in a puddle of your own
We
spit.
should have done time together.
That's what I would have done. So this is real simple here.
Yeah, but you're 48.
Yeah.
These guys.
They're dumb and young.
Right. I mean, they weren't that young, but these guys, they were already fighting for their lives.
When El Chapo, when that guy got out and he dug that hole a mile long underneath
they gave him a pill.
No, but didn't you respect that? I respected that. I'm not even a criminal.
What part?
The fact that they had the thought process involved in
This is what they
digging a
do
hole.
every day.
I know, but I mean, still, I was like, I gotta respect.
Well, you
that.
had to know.
The guy made a fucking mile-long tunnel with
when
electricity
you got that kind of money, you're
and
getting
an electric
out.
bike.
When you got that kind of money, you're getting out. Okay.
Now
And there's a lot of people getting paid too along the way there.
Apparently, he's got $100 million bounty on Donald Trump.
Oh, really?
Donald Trump talks shit about Mexicans too much.
Yeah, whatever. Let's not talk politics here, because
It's not even political.
well,
But-
assassinations are political too.
But when guys want to get out, and you all day, that's all you're thinking
All day.
about.
Listen,
How the
they
fuck
were
do I
digging
get
out
out
where I was too, but
Did
they caught them. Yeah,
Did
caught
they?
'em. Yeah, well, someone gives you up
Right.
because they want to go to a better place.
Right.
Like let's say I end up in Mariana. Well, let me tell you this is
Okay.
So I get off the bus and I'm like, this is gonna be fucking horrible. I gotta do now at this point another 10 and a half years like this, walking a fucking place like this, and it's hot. It's fucking the middle of the summer, like I say July, whatever it was. And Panhandle of Florida, it's fucking hot. It's 100. I get off the bus and I see this, this fence and gate and shit, and it looks okay, And they bring you into R&D. It's like you're a package. They bring you into R&D. They process you. They give you if you ever see them on TV, they got the fucking bags. They got their bedroll. They got their bedroll in their hand that has some of their clothes and shit. And you're walking through this compound, and this guard opens up. God, whatever, hack. He opens up the port to this compound. And I say to myself, strike me dead. Now, I just came from a fucking hole in the wall for years, right? 2 years. I've been looking at nothing but cement and polish on the floor. And he opens it up, and I see a luscious fucking place. Other than my vacations in the Cayman Islands, this was the most picturesque place I've ever seen, like up close and in person. Now, it doesn't matter. It's 2 years I've been seeing cement, so.
Right.
I mean, lush, flowers, colors, beautiful, grass, beautiful, cement, gorgeous, a big, beautiful chow hall with my name, saying, come and eat. I haven't had a good meal in fucking forever.
And the food was good?
I was eating fucking hash. The
Right.
food's going to be good no matter what. So I go like this. I go to myself, this is fucking paradise. I swear to God, I just finished saying it, and the God goes, welcome to paradise.
Whoa.
Like the thing we
So
had
you
this
said it
morning
to
with the new
yourself in
Coke
your
and the
head.
old
Oh,
Coke.
that's hilarious.
And I'm going, this fucking guy, I don't want to let him know that I agree.
Wow.
I fucking agree.
So when he's saying welcome to paradise, is he fucking with you? Or is he...
No, because he knows where I just came from.
Right.
You understand?
Right.
And he knows that this is nice. It's
Right.
it's a college campus with fences around it.
Right.
But the inhabitants are not quite
Right.
college people. The average sentence was I think 18 years when I worked in that place, and it was 300 and I want to say 40 some odd men that were never going home that I was now going to bunk with. Okay.
Those are the dangerous ones. Right?
You know what? They're the least dangerous.
The nothing to lose guys?
Not the ones that are doing their time.
Why are they the least dangerous?
Well, because they just want to live their lives out. It's the young bucks that that they just want to make a name for themselves, and that they don't see the 10 years, 15 years from now they're going home. They just see the same immediate gratification that got them there.
Right.
So right now, I like your sneakers or I like your fucking soup. And I don't have any soup because my parents, I don't even know my parents, you know what I mean? And so I don't get the extras. Prison's about extras, If you get extras in prison, you'll survive,
So explain that to me.
Commissary,
Okay.
people live on the commissary in prison because it's like it's part of rebellion. No one wants to be beholden to the government for what they're going to give them. So when you go into prison, yeah, you get a good square meal, the food's okay, it's cooked for fucking 1,800 men.
Right.
There's plenty of... It's a control mechanism. Okay, food is a control mechanism, exercise is a control mechanism, and all the frills are control mechanisms. So how do you control a population? Water, food, sex that they can't have. So certain things are control mechanism. Food and exercise in prison is a control mechanism. So the way to control guys is to provide them with a good meal, and you don't want to lose that good fucking meal.
Right.
So you're gonna be good because I just came from a place where I was eating shit out of a plastic container all day long. Now I got a plate with a knife and a fork. I can eat like a gentleman.
Right.
You start to feel like a human being again. But the problem is the guy next to you is you don't want to take him home necessarily.
So
unless it's me.
The guy next to you is not getting the same food?
No, he's getting the same, and he wants that.
Right.
So so he wants to keep maintain the status quo. So if he's down there doing a life sentence, he's okay with it because he's accepted it.
Right.
It's the young guys that think that they want your food, or they want to get over. The get over mentality. You have to let go of the get over mentality. Otherwise, you're going to live that fucking harried life in prison.
The get over mentality, meaning you're always looking to get ahead a little bit.
Right.
A little scam, a little this.
Yeah, scam a little, steal some eggs,
that.
sell them to this guy. A lot of people send money home from prison. So it turns into another rat race.
Now, when you say the commissary, like what can you get at a commissary?
Well, one of the big things are stamps, so you can use that to barter. Stamps is like currency. Stamps and tuna fish are currency in prison.
So you could send letters.
You can send letters.
So you have to have stamps
You
to
can
send a letter
gamble.
home.
You can gamble.
Gamble?
Yeah. Right.
What kind of gambling?
Well, sports. Usually it's sports gambling. And then there's cards, Then there's cards or checkers or chess. People gamble on anything.
So can you watch games and stuff like that?
Well, the unit I stayed in had 5 or 6 TVs.
Really?
In a common area, yeah. One had the rap station on. One had basketball all the time. And the other one had Spanish TV. So then you had CNN once in a while, which we saw the 9/11 attack, and they'll come out looking at me. Mike, did you see what happened? I'm like, yeah, okay,
They looked at you because you were a cop?
Of course, I was from New York, and I was a cop.
Right,
all the staff and everybody came over. It was a difficult fucking moment, to say the least.
Yeah.
Yeah. But so I went through a lot of that stuff in prison.
So in the commissary, you can get extra things.
Extras. Yeah.
You can get extra food?
Extra food. Yeah.
Like what kind of food?
Like I said, tuna fish, octopus.
Octopus?
Oh yeah. Some places, yeah. So but you got to buy it.
How much does it cost?
Well, if you paid $1 for a can of tuna in the street, it was $2.50 in there, like that type of thing. Whatever the current rate is, you paid a little bit more in prison.
Right.
Yeah.
And then if you're working in prison, you get very little money, right?
You get very little money, so the money from the outside is what you maintain. So guys that go to prison and have outside connections with family that would still help them support themselves become a commodity in prison. So, you're a hustler in prison, so you like to take extra eggs and make some egg salad, let's say. Because guys work out all day long. That's what they do. They want to increase their protein. They want to stay in shape because they want to go home one day. And so you learn to adjust your life in order that you have an end game. Some kids only care about today, and some of them don't go home because they end up getting in a fight, a stabbing, killed, whatever,
And then they get another bid.
They get another bid because of that, and there you go.
So... Is that where you did most of your time down there in Florida?
I did 5 years plus in Marietta, Florida, and then I wanted to get closer to family, because I was getting ready to be released. I had talking 7 years. I'm anticipating a release in about 3 or 4 years, which didn't turn out, and I lost a year when I got on a plane, which is a legal argument that I made for the next 5 years and lost. But I wanted a year off down in Marietta, Florida for my drug program participation, but I had to go to court to get it. So when I got on the plane to come back to Devens, Massachusetts, where I served in Ayer, Mass. Are you familiar with that area of Massachusetts at all?
Where's Ayer? What's
Ayer? It's near the W, Fort Devens. It's west of Boston, about 45 miles.
Okay.
Worcester?
Worcester, yeah.
Right, it's near Worcester, Mass.
Okay.
Anyway, so they had opened a new federal prison there, and I wanted to get closer to my family, so I ended up getting on a plane. You make a request.
Right.
Got on a plane, they've fulfilled my request. I ended up in Devon, Massachusetts, and when I got off the plane, I lost a year off my sentence because I'm now in a different legal jurisdiction than the legal jurisdiction that I was in Florida.
So you have to do an extra year because of that?
So I got the year put back onto my sentence that I earned off, and I just wanted to I was on fucking medication.
Oh.
It's like, I said, can you just send me back? They went, no.
Oh.
Yeah.
So
I love the federal
year
government.
just to come to New York.
Yeah, because
Wow.
I wanted to get closer to my family so they would get to know me as I get released. You
Right.
want to get closer bond with your family.
Make
and
it easier for
Make
them
it
to
easier for
visit.
everybody.
Right.
Visiting, exactly. And
Right.
then, so it cost me another year. So I ended up in a fight over that and fist fight, whatever. I lost my fucking mind, and they ended up causing a hunger strike.
You caused a hunger? You went on a hunger strike?
I organized one. It wasn't about. I didn't,
Jesus
I couldn't. I
Christ.
couldn't do. I can't go 6 hours without eating. In fact, I'm getting hungry right now. But I helped organize a hunger strike.
So
and
you organized a hunger strike, but you didn't participate?
I participated for an hour. I got locked up in an hour.
Oh.
You don't know, the stories are crazy. So I ended up in MCC, New York again, the place where I had just
Oh, no.
back in the fucking hole over there in isolation.
Oh,
So I
no.
caused another hunger strike there.
Oh, God.
And that time they listened to us, and they shipped me out to McKean, Pennsylvania. and I did like 3 years there. I mean, it gets tired just going through this shit. You know, and you live the life out there, and you know, I don't need any sympathy, by the way. Just it is what it is, you know.
Yeah, no, I'm not giving you any sympathy.
No,
I'm just trying to think
hard,
about it, what it
long.
was like.
To add a year to someone's sentence, they actually called for an ambulance after they told me. You want an ambulance? I'm like, I'm not sure. I was going down, like.
Right.
I don't know
can
what's
imagine.
happening. It was like, you know, I
can imagine.
fought for 5 years to get this fucking, actually
Right.
4 years to get this sentence reduced
Right.
a year, and now you give it back to me in one day because I got off a plane in your fucking state. I hate this fucking state. Send me back to Florida.
Federal.
Nah, you got. Here's the good news. She says to me, hot bitch. She goes, here's the good news. The good news is you got 4 years to fight us.
Oof.
I just got finished fighting them for 4 years.
Oh.
And it costs so much to fight these cocksuckers. You have no idea. And I'm living on stamps and the goodwill of people sending me money and some of the money that I earned in prison. You know, just fucking horrible.
Now, are you allowed to make money off of your case now?
I did a lot of research, the people I'm involved with, and you know, unless there's a specific victim that
Right.
was specifically out there, unless a guy says I stole his kilo, you know, I don't know
What's he gonna do?
What am I gonna do? So you'd have to prove how many kilos you sold or didn't get.
Right.
You know, so
So it's not like a violent crime. Like O.J. Simpson can't make money off of.
yes,
Right.
But the details are slightly different because you know I
Yes.
was I don't know how fuck you would call it, but you know the people that researched for me said that there is the law that Son of Sam law does not directly affect you.
Yeah, it would make sense.
You have to have a specific victim
Right.
that you victimized.
Right.
Yeah.
And then you profit off of that, and that's
or
where
for their
yes,
or for their
misery.
misfortune.
Right. That you caused.
Right.
Yeah. So this is not that.
Right.
This is.
I mean, the Son of Sam executed people
Right.
on Long Island. You know. In
Right.
fact, the detective's name is a distant cousin of mine, Timothy Dowd, who arrested him.
Really?
Yeah. Oh,
They
that's
caught the Son of Sam.
Yeah.
Oof.
Yeah. So you know, my family's got the legacy on both sides, I guess.
Pro con.
Yeah.
Now, what is it like the first day you got out?
You know, I thought you might ask that question.
How could I not?
Yeah. Well, the first day I got out, there's different outs. Okay, you get
Right.
you get released to a halfway house. So I was in McKean, Pennsylvania. Now I was finished with my bid, and my parents wanted to send a limousine to pick me up and welcome me home, like a big shot, you know.
Right.
But not in a boisterous way. Just
Just to
show me
make you feel
show me
good.
love, show me
Right.
love, right? So I said, you know what? No, I want to take the bus home, the Greyhound. So I got on a Greyhound bus and I drove the Greyhound. I didn't drive it. I was a passenger on a Greyhound bus to MCC, not MCC, the bus terminal in Manhattan, and my family was there waiting for me. You know, about 10, 15 of them were there. It was a nice welcoming, but all I can do was say, I need a quarter, and they're like, what do you need a quarter for? I said, I need to fucking make a phone call. I said, can anyone got a quarter? I need it right now. I'm panicking because I'm running late. And the halfway house, and I'm a rules follower sometimes, so I don't want to go back. So
Right.
I need to notify the halfway house I'm going to be running late because the bus was late.
Right.
So all of a sudden, people start handing me these things to talk on. What the fuck
Cell
is that?
phones.
What the fuck is that? They go, it's a phone. I go, well, dial it for me. I never dial. I don't know what I'm doing. Right.
So you'd never seen a cell phone before?
Never saw a cell phone before.
Wow.
Oh, that's not true. I saw the original cell phones.
The brick.
Yeah, the bricks. I was the original handler of the bricks. But now I had no idea what
Did
these
you
things-
have one of those things?
No, but my drug dealers did.
Oh, all those. They had those like the ones from Gordon Gecko and Wall Street.
Yeah, they look like this. They were squared, and then they had the ones with the long cords, and they could take them out and talk on them. Yeah,
They had a suitcase
yeah,
you carried around.
Listen, they were my heroes. Back then.
Right,
Like, could you
yeah.
imagine? I'm calling my house from. My wife's going, what are you calling from? I go, I'm using one of the drug dealer's cell phones right now. The guy's like, I said, do me a favor, erase that number when I finish talking to you.
So you call the halfway house, and now you have to. Do you have to live there for a
Now
while?
I got to
Is that
live
how it
there,
works?
which is back in the ghetto. I'm back in the ghetto, living in a halfway house, and I'm out about 2-3 days, and the news people are out front, circling like fucking bees around honey,
Right.
or flies on shit. They're all over the place, and if someone snaps a picture of a guy, puts it on the front page of the Daily News, and says Dowd still walks like a cop. It wasn't me.
You walk like a cop.
Yeah.
What the fuck does that mean?
Well, we know. They know what they're saying.
Twirling a baton?
Nah.
How does one walk
I'm a
like a
white guy in
cop?
the ghetto walking like I owned it.
Oh.
Yeah. So this guy was.
Interesting.
Yeah,
But it wasn't even you.
It wasn't me. It was somebody else. So the guy sues and gets $500,000. I'm still broke.
Really?
Yeah.
That guy sued and got $500,000
That's what I
because he
was
was
told.
walking like a cop.
Yeah. Well, they put his picture on the front page of the.
Oh, that's
and
hilarious.
they tarnished his criminal image that said he was a rogue cop. He was only there for something else.
That's hilarious.
So,
That's hilarious.
Yeah, so he had to deal with that.
This is the Daily News or the
opprobrium.
Post? What was it? Which one?
It was the Daily News.
Yeah. Well,
There you go. There you go. Well, how's it? Enough said.
Well, people who don't know those tabloid newspapers in New York, those are hilarious newspapers. The fucking covers are always very funny.
Yeah, right. Not when your face is on it for fucking like 6 months.
Yeah, well, I would imagine. Did you save any of those?
No, but yes. Me, no. I mean, I didn't want to have it in my property when I landed in a different institution. Like, oh,
Right.
oh, this is you.
Let me just put these up on the wall.
Yeah, but some family members have like every one, I guess. But
Now, when you get out and you're in the halfway house,
I want to go back.
how long do you have to stay
I want
there?
to go back to prison.
Really?
Yeah.
Because the halfway house is that bad.
No, because I don't know what to do with.
So you were institutionalized.
I'm done. Yeah, I'm cooked. I'm cooked. This is not good.
That's what they always say.
I'm cooked. I don't know what to do or how to do it. I don't know how to walk across the street. And I'm afraid because if I walk across a don't walk sign, I'm standing there. Imagine standing in Brooklyn in front of a don't walk sign for like 5 minutes. And there's no fucking cars. I'm standing there waiting for the don't walk sign to turn so they have the hand or the people.
Because you just don't want to do anything
I don't want to do
stupid.
anything wrong. Because
Right.
they're following me everywhere I go.
Wow.
I don't want the news people snapping a picture of me walking across against the don't walk sign. So the post guy comes up to me and says, Mike, I look at him, I don't want to acknowledge him, but what am I going to do? I look,
Right.
He goes, can you just sign this affidavit for me that that this is you, that I'm about to take your picture of? I go,
Oh, my God.
I go, do your fucking job and leave me alone, please.
Oh, sign an affidavit.
Yeah, sign an affidavit, because the other guy just sued the fucking Daily News.
That's hilarious.
Hilarious.
That's hilarious.
So I'm taking a shower. This is my epic moment. My first shower in freedom. I talk about this often because it's epic. And looking out the window, and there's my brother's 2 kids. I don't know these kids. I never met them. I'm in my mother's apartment upstairs, my mother's house upstairs, looking out. The shower has a window. I'm looking out, and I see these 2 little kids running across my brother's lawn next door. My brother was a cop, retired because of me, but he got a pension, thank God. Anyways, it's another story. Played good hockey player, so that's why he got his pension. Anyway, so I see these 2 kids, and I realize the loss that, I mean, the whole world took place while I walked that track by myself,
Right.
And my brother, who idolized me to no end, now has 2 kids, and I don't even know mine. I'm like, oh my God, this is fucking horrible. And now I got to make a living. And the first thing I want to do is help those that I left behind, yours truly included. And I'm like, I don't think I can do this. And I'm in the fucking shower crying so hard that I don't know if I'm getting wet from the shower or my tears. And like, I don't know if you ever cried in your life. I'm a man. I can say it. I've
Never.
Wept.
I don't cry.
Okay. I've wept so hard. I wept so hard that I wanted to take a nap when I was done. It was just like, shit just kept pouring out of my body.
Wow.
My first shower in freedom was like I was getting all the poison of life. Because, you got to realize, this is, at this time, I'm 44 years old. I have nothing. Zero. My whole life is a fucking zero at 44 years old.
But you still have kids, and you have
I don't
your freedom
have
now.
anything.
But you're out.
I have nothing. I don't have kids. Someone else has kids. I happen to be a guy that they heard about. I have nothing. It'd be easier for me to turn around and go back.
Wow. So do you really wanted to go back?
Of course, I didn't want to.
You didn't want to,
It just
but
seemed
it
like
seemed
the
like-
easiest thing to
wow.
do was to go back. And thank God at that moment I had good parents and solid family support and a couple of young kids that wanted to get to know me, because I don't know what else to say. I mean, it was like I didn't know what to do. I had to go earn a living. I never had a fucking job in my life. I was a cop.
So what did you do for a job after that? Because it's got to be hard to get a job.
I still can't get a job.
Do you want one?
Well, you got one for me?
If I had one, I'd give it to you.
Listen, I'm a good worker.
I need a real podcast network. That's what I need. I need to actually have a network.
Yeah, we
start giving guys like you shows.
Yeah, I couldn't get a fucking job, but my brother was doing some construction, and I mixed up with the construction industry for about 4 or 5 years, and I did pretty well. And that was in the boom time. So anybody who could hold a brush in their hand or a hammer in their hand got a job, and they made a decent salary. And I turned down some union offers because I have family that runs one of the unions, and I turned it down because I needed money now. I wanted to try to help now. And so I did what I could, and you know, listen, I put an ankle bracelet on me when I got home because I was banging one of the chicks from the halfway house. You're not supposed to do that, by the way.
You're not supposed to?
No.
Why not?
I don't.
They own you? Are you free or you're not
No,
free?
well, because she's a convict too.
So you can't associate with convicts?
Right.
But you're sleeping in the house with them?
Right.
But you can't fuck them?
Right.
Can you hug them?
No. No patronizing or matronizing or sexualizing any of them.
Oh.
So it was very difficult. I broke the rule from the day. I broke the first rule.
So did you get in trouble for that?
Yes.
Breaking that rule?
Eventually.
What do they do? What do they say?
I tried to get rid of her because she was a psycho, I found out.
Oh, gee, how weird. Psycho, ex-con? That doesn't even make sense.
Didn't make sense. I don't want to talk disparagingly about the dead, by the way. She passed.
Oh, what happened?
Yeah, I think I don't liver or something. Anyway, but horrible death. But I had to get away from her, so I made a decision to go back to prison just to get away from her.
Really?
Yeah. And she threatened to call, and she did. She called my probation officer, and he came and put an ankle bracelet on me. He spared me prison. He put an ankle bracelet on me. And then I got jammed up again with the ankle bracelet on because I said I was going to church, but I didn't.
Where'd you go?
I don't want to put it out there.
Okay.
But it wasn't bad. I was at someone's house. You know, I was getting laid.
I understand.
They wouldn't let me leave my house. So finally, I got out.
So you were under house arrest. Is that what the...
Yes, that's what the ankle bracelet does. It keeps you, within a beacon of the machine.
What a fucking
so I was willing to go back to prison to get rid of this relationship, and I almost did. Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
So that was my re-entry into society.
So how much time do you have to spend doing this halfway house thing before you're free?
Well, that's like but what it is, you go from halfway house to home confinement, and then after home confinement, you go on to supervised release.
Home confinement. So you're confined to your home for during
the hours of the, like, if you're not working, you're locked in your house. You know,
wow.
And that's Yeah, so they can call at any minute, any
So
time.
you can't go to the movies?
No, but you can ask for permission to go shopping and things of that nature, you know, and then come back in. And it's all, you're clocked, you're checked constantly on your time.
I don't understand that. Like, why is that if you're free? If you're free and if you can go to the movies...
Because you're not free.
You're not free.
You're not free yet. You're still part of your sentence, which is why I said 12 and a half years, not 11 years, 9 months, because the last 6 months of my prison sentence was in the street.
Wow.
And then from there, you do 5 years of supervised release, which is when she called up on me when I broke up with her, you know, and then he was fucking pissed. I mean, how could you blame the guy? You know, I've been lying to him for like 2-3 years now at this point when she fucking drops a dime on me.
That's pussy.
It's pussy. That's what I said. He says, well, I'm going to tell you. He said, what are you? I said, look, you're going to tell the judge that I fell in love? Come on.
Yeah.
She was the love judge, Judge Kimber Wood, the one that was all over the news.
What happened to her? I don't know that story.
I don't want to talk bad about judges. You know, I may see him again.
Well, you don't have to talk bad.
No, she got jammed up with a relationship she was in, and it was all over the news. And they disparaged
she should
her.
understand.
That's what I thought.
Nope.
She's not quite as understanding as you think.
Hypocrites. How dare they? So then, what do you eventually wind up doing for work?
So I continue on the construction field, and I can't remember what else I did. No, I can continue on in this. Oh, limousine driving. I ended up being a limousine driver. The job that Kenny actually got me fired from before I went to prison, because I got a job driving a limousine for 1 hour, but never drove the limo. Because I don't know, tell you this. If I tell this story, I'm about to get a job driving a limousine. So Kenny goes, where you working? Well, he's wearing a wire. I go, I'm starting driving a limo tomorrow. I'll have some decent pay. All the plans about leaving the country are off. Well, no one even fucking really knows the depth of this.
Right.
This is why we're out on bail. So I go, I'm good. If I get a job driving a limo, I'll make $600-800 a week for now. I got a lot of money coming in, rental incomes. I'm good. I had 4 homes and a condo on the ocean, and so he turns around and he says, "Where?" I go, "Where? What do you fucking care where?" He goes, "Well, in case I want a job." So I go, I tell him, I don't know. It was in the fucking newspaper. It was in Deer Park somewhere. Boom. Next day, I go to start the job. I'm on my way in. I just bought the last $300. I bought a suit, black suit. Guy goes, I go, I'm on my way. I says, I haven't heard from you. You're supposed to call me and tell me what time to be at the shop. He goes, we got a problem. I go, what's the problem? He says, I got a visit. I go, what? He goes, I got a visit. They're going to open my books and my taxes and ring me a new asshole if I give you a job here. I said, you gotta be kidding me, motherfucker. I just spent my last $300 cash, because the government takes everything when they get you. So now I can't even get a job fucking doing that while I'm out on bail.
So
And I
this
wouldn't
is-
have had the desperado to leave the fucking country.
So Kenny set that up,
I don't know.
allegedly,
I don't know.
possibly,
Probably.
probably.
I'm sure.
Wow. So it wasn't just wearing a wire.
Come
it was
on.
conspiring.
Come on. It's just
It was-
fucking
it was-
ongoing. You know,
yeah.
he fucking walks around. He saved someone's life. Yeah, you fucking ruined mine.
Wow. Probably saved it in a way too.
Yeah,
though.
I'm not mad. Just just keep it real. He saved my life in a way. Nah, you know what? The cops saved my life.
Right.
They locked me up.
Right. Wow.
I couldn't get a fucking package after that.
You're sitting on a gold mine, though. You are sitting on a gold mine. These fucking stories.
Oh, the
If
stories
you-
are fucking ridiculous.
If you just write it, can you write? Can you type?
I can do a lot of things.
You
My
should.
shoulder hurts though.
Well, yeah. You keep doing this. You keep
Yeah.
doing this. This
It's
twist.
numb.
What's
It's
going on
numb.
with
I
it?
got a fucking two-pinch
Stinger in
I
your
got
neck?
two-pinched,
Yeah?
two vertebrae. What do you call these?
Have you ever? Do you know what spinal
I'm in
decompression
treatment
is?
right now.
What are they doing for you?
I'm doing the Physical Therapy Act.
I've had some serious spinal shit, bulging discs and
Yes,
stuff
that's
from
what I-
working out.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can get rid of that. I've got rid of it 100%.
I'm working on it right now. I'm working on it. So,
Yeah.
It's a process.
You just got to do it slow. And
Yeah.
spinal decompression's a big thing too. Stretching.
Like hanging by your neck and
Well,
shit.
they have these things that you can actually set up. They're fairly cheap. You just set them up on a door. They hang off the back of the door like a little chain.
Right.
Actually, my friend Denny has one that he likes even better than that. It's inflated actually, and you put it on your neck. And he's got some spinal issues too, and it actually just lifts.
Lifts? Takes
You
the pressure?
inflate it. You pump it up, and it kind of like lifts up on your neck and stretches.
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of it is either injury or bad posture, and everything gets compressed, and it stays compressed, and then discs
Yeah.
pop out.
Right.
And what you got to do is relieve some of that compression.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the ways is these. I have this one. It's like a harness. I strap it under my chin. I Velcro it in place, and then I crank on it. Click, click, and it pulls my neck. Click, click, and it pulls my neck.
You're not nervous or afraid that you might overdo something.
No. It's not that. It's not
You know,
painful.
listen, I hate to change the subject for a second. You're right, but I appreciate the medical advice. Because I'm in pain. But themikeDowd.com,
Mm-hmm.
people can get my they can download the 7.5 from my website, and after that, I might get 25 cents if they do that.
Oh,
So,
do you get a cut of that? Okay.
a little something. So it would be
Well, I'll have
be
to-
nice.
I'll definitely
it
send
would be
people-
nice. I mean, I lost my job due to the documentary.
What job was that?
I was doing mechanical services in a location that I'm still in flux with them, right?
Even when you're fucking describing a legit job, everything is.
Well, the problem is, well, you got to understand something. I lost the position because of my past.
Mm-hmm.
So if I put their specific location,
Oh, I understand.
I'm still trying to work something out with them right now.
So they found out about your past.
They knew about it when they hired me, but the documentary became so compelling and riveting, so interesting and so detailed that, probably some cop called up and said, I don't want my wife working with this guy around.
Right.
And the fucking CEO said, find a way to get rid of him.
Yeah. Well, listen, they're doing you a favor. I swear to God, you're sitting on a fucking gold mine. These stories you have, and I guarantee you probably have a fucking 1,000 of them. All your years in a
Easily.
job.
Easily. 10 years. 10 years, 5 months I did in the street.
Yeah, you just need to sit down with somebody and write these out and then edit them and make the most compelling ones. You could probably have a fucking 500-page book.
Well, 500.
Yeah,
I'm trying to cut it down.
Yeah, that's
I'm
what I'm
trying
saying.
to cut it down.
But if you cut it down to the gems
Yeah.
and just, honest about all the fucking craziness and all the weird shit that's going on in your head and the family and pussy and the drugs and god damn, it's a gold mine. I'll fucking buy it.
Yeah,
I'll buy
yeah.
it in a goddamn heartbeat. My friend Joey Diaz is a nut for crime books. He's turned me on like a fucking 100 crime books. He's always like, Joe Rogan, you got to read this fucking book. And it's like,
Do you have the kind of time to read? Because today a lot
yeah.
of people don't. Well, that's
Yeah,
good.
I
That's
force
well, you get
myself.
on planes too.
yeah, planes help.
That's a good time.
I just force myself a couple days a week to force myself to go to bed right before I go to bed. Sit down.
That's
and
good,
read
and
something.
that's what I used to do in the joint. I mean, I've read probably 400 or 500 books while I was away.
Yeah.
So I try to expand my vocabulary. However, when you start talking police terms,
Mm-hmm.
your vocabulary narrows back to the vocabulary you use while you're doing your job.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
fuck you, motherfucker, get over here, and get down
Right.
now. Let me see your fucking hands,
Right.
and don't fucking move. Meanwhile, I want you to raise your hands.
Well, the audio books are great too. You know,
Yeah,
I love that because I'm always stuck in traffic, and especially. In
How do you
LA.
like the cigar so far?
They're very good.
They're
very good.
Really, not bad, right?
Yeah, I put it down after blitz. We're talking.
Yeah, I
you
know,
know,
it's hard.
It's hard
It's
to keep
rude.
it lit.
It's rude.
No, it was great.
Yeah.
It was good though. It's a good cigar. It's good. It's a very solid cigar.
Yeah. So.
And it's funny that it's got that guy's fucking face
Yeah,
on it,
right.
the little unibrow and everything.
It actually has. If the detail is really, really cool because it has the street in there. You don't see it. It has the location of his drug spot in the fucking band on the cigar.
Where can you buy these?
Well, we're working on them right now. We're putting them together. You know, so there's a big tobaccoletta, they call it, in Dominican Republic, who saw the documentary.
Oh, that's hilarious.
And Adam didn't know. I said, Adam, you have a relationship with this company? He says, yeah. I said, well, go tell them who the fuck you are. So he went and saw them, and they saw the documentary, and I think they listened to Artie's podcast with me or something, and they went, holy fuck, yes, we got a cigar for you. So he put his face on this fucking cigar. I think I'm going to get mine to say the 7.5 on it.
Oh, that's a good move.
And Dowd, maybe, you know.
That's not bad.
So you can,
Even just Dowd.
Well,
Dowd cigars. Now, this guy Adam, is he stuck in?
He can't come here. Yeah. We can call him if you want to call him. I mean, he's dying to say hello. But you know who's really more interesting?
Who?
Walter.
Yeah. Well, Walter seemed interesting.
Walter's pretty fucking. You want
seem like a
me to give him a
character.
call? We got him. Can we do that or no?
Well,
You don't do
there's
that.
no need to do it now. But listen, this ain't the first podcast you and I are going to do. I'm sure we got many more things to talk about. And as more things come out and you start doing things, I'll be happy to help you promote them.
Oh, that'd be nice. Yeah.
Be more
You'll
than-
have me
more
back
than
when the book
happy.
comes out.
Fuck
Oh,
yeah.
all right.
When do you think that's going to? I mean, have you
Well,
started?
it's in flux right now. I just, because the thing is, we've gone to see a couple of publishers. Right now, they're a little nervous. you
What
know?
the fuck is wrong with them?
I don't know what to say.
Listen, you pussies.
I don't know what to say.
Well, it's not. It's he's done the time.
I
Shut
did
the fuck up
yeah,
and write
so
the
what happens is
book.
people can't get behind a bad
Oh,
guy.
my
But you know what?
God.
I did bad things. I don't think I'm not bad of a guy. You know what I mean? I hope not. Anyway.
I've known a lot of bad guys. I don't think you're a bad guy.
No,
I
thank
think
you.
did bad shit. But like I said, I could have done that same shit.
Yeah.
I think people being honest. If you're honest about circumstantial situations that you find yourself into and poor decision making and being young and doing drugs and then also being involved in a heinous crime riddled situation like your environment that you're in, you're going to these places, these ghettos, you're constantly around crime, you're constantly around drugs, and I gotta imagine, like as you detailed in the documentary, the crime aspect of it slowly sort of started creeping in.
It gets you. And I was young. I was young and impressionable. You know, when you see a 17-year-old kid in a Jaguar with a gooseneck fucking equalizer, like he's the bomb, you know,
Right.
and he's got $25,000-$30,000 in his pockets, and he's got ropes and diamonds hanging on his neck. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
You know, what am I doing here?
Right.
You know, listen, it's wrong, but
Do you
it doesn't
remember-
seem that wrong sometimes.
Do you remember the first piece of crime that you did while you were a cop? Like you never forget your first pussy. Pussy, like it's an object. First woman, excuse me, pardon me, people.
Yes.
First woman
Well,
that you've had sexual relations with.
Yes, no, not with that one.
Yeah.
Who's that? Not with that one. Monica. Anyway, Monica
I
Lewinsky.
did not have
Yes,
sexual
with-
He did one of these things with the thumb. I did not
But
have.
his finger bent.
He did something. Fucker.
He had cigars and everything in it. He should have
right.
had one of these.
He should have. Yeah. Well, that's another story of a rat, right? Not even her, the other chick, the ugly one. Remember the whole story?
Oh, that one. Yeah,
He
yeah.
had
The
a
blonde?
no, Monica Lewinsky was friends with some old
Yeah,
hag.
yeah, the blonde
that
one.
ratted him
Yeah,
out.
Yeah. I remember.
No, the blonde was a different one.
Oh, that?
Clinton was on a rampage.
Yeah, he did
He's
good.
the last great American dick slinging president.
Yeah. Because now you're not allowed.
You're not allowed
Yeah,
anymore.
yeah.
We lost like, what it meant to be. Do you think
Schwang.
Putin's laughing at these fucking
Oh
idiots?
my God!
Laughing.
Please, I don't want to get into it. You're
Laughing.
touching.
Ha ha ha.
Oh, yeah, checkmate. You know, yeah.
He gets head and then shoots the hooker and throws her off the top of the Kremlin. And just
Perfect.
laughs.
No witness.
He doesn't even have to. It doesn't matter if it's a witness. He doesn't care.
It doesn't matter. Yeah,
I
just
mean, he doesn't even have to shoot
They
him.
got nuclear poisoning drops for these people.
Oh, they have all kinds of things. But do you remember like the first crime
well,
that you
the
committed?
one I talk about often is because I listen. When you're a cop, if you're not doing what you're supposed to do by the book, you're on the edge of committing a crime
Right.
every fucking day.
Right.
Okay.
So every time you even let somebody off when they're supposed to be arrested,
Yeah, you
it's-
basically have committed a crime. You know,
Right.
because you've used a discretion in an area where there was no discretion.
right.
You know, so you know, but the thing I talk about is when I took the money from the Hispanic kid, the Puerto Rican kid, in the movie I talk about it.
Yeah, what was that situation?
Well, he had what we call the Puerto Rican mystery at the time. Which
Puerto Rican mystery?
Yeah, I mean, and listen, I love Puerto Ricans. They're my favorite people in the world.
They're fun
They're
people.
the best. You know, they got the Remy, they got everything going on, the bodegas. I love them. They helped me grow up. I love them.
They're very friendly
and they ruined me at the same time.
Oriented.
They love them, and they ruined me
Yeah.
at the same time. So what happened was, there's this vet driving down in the ghetto. When you see a vet in the ghetto, you're going to notice it, right? I mean, look at me.
Yeah.
So I put it in the lieutenant's spot because I got to be noticed. But so this kid's got this vet, and I pull him over, and he's got nothing. I mean, nothing. No license plates, no insurance. I mean, no plates on the fucking car. Just driving it. So, but I noticed he had a thick wad of hundreds in his the fanny pack back then. You know.
I still wear one. How
Tell you?
dare you say back then? See that?
Yeah,
Fuck
but yours is dual.
Respect.
Yours is dual.
You know, I've got a zipper.
Oh,
in
you got
here,
the whole
too. Look at
thing.
that.
Let me tell you something.
Come on. Look at that.
I started wearing one again not too long ago.
I wear one. I don't give a fuck. I'm married. I'm not trying to get any pussy.
Yeah, you don't need to. Yeah,
Not trying to get laid.
There
wear
you
a
go.
fanny pack,
Good for you.
like a man.
Yeah, there you go.
Even if I was trying to get laid, any girl
Don't get yourself in
won't
trouble.
fuck you with a fanny pack. You don't want to fuck her.
Good.
That's what I think. It's too much
I don't
work.
need you.
Yeah, I don't have to dress up for you. Get the fuck out of here.
So there you go.
When I have to
your
wear
wife
cologne
is saying,
next?
Yeah, oh, no, don't do any cologne. Don't do the cologne.
Fuck
please.
that. Never.
Please. Headaches.
Never.
I get headaches.
I wouldn't want to do it.
So I pull the guy over.
Have respect.
I pull the guy over, and he goes, "This is I got nothing." But he's got Benjamins and Franklins in his fucking bag.
Right.
So I decide that he could buy us a nice lobster lunch because, you know, everybody eats lobster
yeah.
for lunch.
Right.
So he says, I said, so, you know, lobster lunch, kid, you know? He goes, yeah? I go, yeah. So I said, and leave it on the back seat. I don't want you handing me nothing.
Right.
Because I'm scared.
Right.
I don't want maybe
So
someone
this
to
is
see
the
it.
first thing.
Yeah, it's the first thing. So he fucking,
that's right, yeah.
So he leaves a couple bucks on the fucking back seat. I don't know if it was 100 or 200 or 100.
Well, there's no backseat in a Corvette.
Yeah, but this is the back seat of the police car that I had him in.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he.
Oh, he was in the car.
Yeah,
I see.
he was like under arrest, basically. He's
Okay.
Get in the car.
And so he just takes a couple hundreds out of his
Yeah,
pocket,
leaves it on
puts
the fucking
there,
seat,
and then say,
and
"Thank
I
you,
said,
sir."
okay, you have a nice day. I don't ever want to see you again. You hear me? Because I'm now parent. I'm
Right.
scared to death.
How long had you been on the job at this point?
About 2 years, year and a half.
Wow. So for a year and a half,
I was good as could be.
straight
6 months
as
in
an
the
arrow.
academy.
6
So that's
months
a
in the
year.
academy, but that doesn't really count.
Yeah,
Right.
and a year in the training.
A year in training.
So now I'm in East New York, and I see money.
Wow. So it's really only a couple months on the job.
A couple of months
Free.
free.
Actually, under your own discretion.
Right,
out there
because you got to
wandering
realize I
around.
saw quite a bit go on in my training.
Now, what did you see in your training?
Well, I was confronted with this is an odd story. I was confronted with training officers, but by the time I get to training, they had 3,600 cops graduate the academy the same day. Okay? Now, just think about that. That's the size of the 6th largest police department in the country. And now we hit the street like a bunch of fucking cockroaches going everywhere, right? And we don't know what the fuck we're doing. That's the last thing a cop knows what he's doing when he gets out of the academy is nothing. He has no clue, okay? All he knows is it's like an accountant who graduates accounting school and says, go check this guy's books. Oh, my God.
Right.
I don't know what the fuck you're doing.
Actually doing it in practice.
Yeah, now you're doing it. You're
Right.
like, okay, you know, one of the first things happened to me, I walked out of the Madison Square Garden. It was graduation day. My father's there. My father's a retired fireman. He's standing there with me. We're walking down the street, and I'm wearing the dress blues. I'm sharp looking, pretty young, haven't shaved yet. You know? And some woman comes walking up to me, officer. And I'm looking like this. Where's the fucking officer? My father goes, that's you.
Wow.
I go, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. She goes, do you know where the Empire State Building is? So I go, I'm trying to find the Empire State Building. I'm on 34th Street in Manhattan.
Right.
Where's the Empire State Building? 34th Street in Manhattan, 5th Avenue. It's 2 blocks straight in front of me, right?
Right.
So I go, I'm looking around. I go, I'm going to the standard, go down 2 blocks, make a left, right?
Right.
Just make a left. That's what you tell people. So my father goes, Mike, it's straight ahead. I go, what the? Oh, yeah, go straight ahead up there. It's on your right. And then you look up, you see the spire at the top of the Empire State Building right there. So anyway, that was my first day, you know, of being a cop. I didn't know I was
Right.
I actually am one now.
Right now you're actually
Now
a
I
cop.
am one. Now I realize the magnitude of this uniform you got on. People come to you.
Right.
Oh, shit.
But what did you
It's
see?
gonna be serious.
What did you see in the
So
academy?
training. In training, it's past the academy. Academy is
Right.
a bunch of shit. So in training, now I do 6 months in the street by myself. No one wants to because they're training the other rookies first. I was in the second tier of training. So now I'm learning the street a little bit. You know, I'm learning how to get a donut. You know, whatever. I got to throw that in.
I'm learning how to get a
donut. You know,
would you say hi? Because they give cops free food, right?
Yeah,
Most places.
Well, they did. You know,
legitimate establishments.
Legitimate establishments, yeah. You know, but sometimes some places do, some places didn't back then. And if they
Really?
didn't, you didn't go back. So.
Well, I thought everybody did.
Well, you would think it's not a crime, but it is. So you can't.
It's a crime.
It's a fucking crime.
What?
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying.
Wait a minute.
So that's what I'm saying.
Wait a minute.
That's what I'm saying.
It's a crime
It's a
to
fucking
give cops
crime.
a free meal?
It's a crime.
That's wrong.
Yeah.
That's wrong.
Right.
That's fucked
You
up.
could give your construction worker a free fucking meal.
What about
but
a fireman? Can you give a fireman a free
Same,
meal?
same thing.
That's a crime?
Crime. Right.
Whoa.
But they cook for themselves nice. They cook a nice meal in their firehouse, which I end up going to them quite a bit. But anyway, so now I'm committing crimes. No, where
Now you're wandering around trying to get donuts.
right? I'm getting donuts,
Right.
and that's it. You know, and I'm like running to like radio calls. You ever see like cops running in uniform? That you know, it's like a little silly, but, you
Right.
know,
Because you're walking the beat.
Because you're walking the beat, you know, and
Right.
but you're a rookie. 1054, which is an aided case. You know, someone's got, you know, a hernia, whatever. You know, where location, you don't know what the fuck it is. You know, you start running. You know, you 4 blocks later, you see the patrol car sitting there. And they're like, kid, you don't fucking run to these things. That's what the patrol car's for. Oh, okay, we just wanted to help out. I want to see
Right.
something. I'm
Right.
standing on Queens Boulevard, an 80-mile-an-hour wind blowing my skirt up all day long. I want to see something.
You're waiting to see some action.
Something, right. So anyway, this goes on for 6 months. So finally, my first tour in a car, I get with these 2 veteran detectives who have 22 years on the job each. And the precinct that I was in had just finished their scandal in the newspaper. It was called the 110 Sergeants Club, who my neighbor actually was involved in. He went to jail. But anyway, so get right to the meat of it. So he says to me, this veteran, he goes, you know, the last guy, don't ask me how this conversation started. He goes, the last guy that's connected with this scandal, he fell over a railing on the 5th floor during a Christmas party in the snow, and he died. I said, well, what do you mean? They go, what it is he was a rat. He told on the cops in the 110 precinct, and he fell over the top of the railing. I said, how do you fall over the top of a fucking railing?
Right, you're being...
It's a 4-foot
Right.
wrought iron railing. How do you
Right.
go over the top of it?
Right. He just did.
He just managed to. Yeah. So he I don't know if they considered it a suicide or accidental death, but it was not a homicide. So they told me that's what happens when you turn in another cop. So I said, okay, I'm on the job now. A little less than a year. 6 months in the academy, 6 months chasing people around. I didn't know what I was doing, eating donuts. And now I'm being told by veteran cops that that's what happens if you tell on a cop.
That they murder people.
Well, that things can happen.
Right.
Mysterious. You can mysteriously get injured.
Doesn't seem that mysterious.
How old are you now?
48?
Okay. Back then,
It was pretty mysterious.
back then I was scared to ask what happened to
Right.
him. Okay, I'm
Okay.
good,
I
but
got
I
it.
think I put the dots together.
Yes, I bet
Don't
you
tell
did.
on a cop.
Right. So right away you're like, okay,
Done.
well this is
That's
just,
done. And
this
then
is
within a week or two, I see him robbing fucking cocaine from spots I wasn't allowed.
same guys.
Same crew, not them,
Same
but
crew.
same.
Right. So you're seeing right away.
It was in Corona, Elmhurst, Jackson Heights, which is called the cocaine capital of New York. Actually, the world at the time was more than Miami because it was where they called Little Columbia. It was all the major Colombian cartels were shipping their cocaine to Jackson Heights and Corona, and it was being shipped out around the whole metropolitan area from there. And it was huge because they had the airports. They're fucking Kennedy and LaGuardia. They ran them. You know, they ran all the fucking transportation in and out of those locations.
So they would get jobs or get people that would get jobs doing that.
Pilots,
baggage
secretaries,
handlers.
baggage handlers. They were fucking.
Wow.
It's like a free-for-all.
Wow.
So I'm working in this low-profile precinct, but that's what really was going on in there.
Right.
And anyway, what else is there to say about it?
So you're right
So I'm
away you're
exposed
seeing
to what's
crime.
going on.
Right away.
Right away.
So you're being indoctrinated like almost instantaneously
Right.
to
Seeing
all
a
this
lot of
shit.
things that don't add up.
Right.
And now I leave there and I go to the ghetto. I'm like, okay, I really should have stayed in fucking school. Because this doesn't look right. I got tears in my eyes. I got Elvis in the ghetto playing on my God Strike Me Dead. I'm driving down Sutter Avenue. I just got graduated from fucking Queens to East New York, and there comes In the Ghetto the song In the Ghetto, and the young, and the mama cries, and I got fucking tears in my eyes. And, oh my God, I should have stayed in school.
You're just hating your choice. You're just stuck.
Scared.
Scared. How long was it before you saw your first dead body?
I had already seen that, but because that guy actually fell from a roof.
You saw the guy.
I've seen plenty of dead bodies by that
Right.
point, probably half a dozen at that point. But
So you actually saw the guy who fell from the roof?
no. I saw a guy that fell from a roof, though. I know what happens.
Oh, a different one.
Your head gets egg-shaped. Yeah, so
Yeah.
he's committed suicide.
Okay.
But anyway, that was one of my first DOAs. But so now you're in the ghetto, and you're there, and you're scared, and you're saying, "I got to sink or swim." You know, it's time to either you're gonna sink or you're gonna swim. And I had a choice to make, so I learned to swim quick. And I was probably in the precinct, a day. I saw my first murder. And then, but
A day?
but it wasn't my case, so I really didn't handle it. A couple of stabbings, and then my first midnight shift, Jesus gets shot. My first midnight shift.
Jesus.
Jesus.
What happened to him?
The story goes like this. I'm working with my buddy Sal, nice guy. He's a little older than me, a little more mature. He's really ready for this action, but he's not an active guy. So he just wants to do his shift and go home. Great. But I'm not. I'm like, I want to be a cop. I want to do police work. Two guys walk with a crowbar down the street, or a tire iron down the street. It's 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, Sal, that looks a little suspicious. He goes, what? I go, the fucking guy's got a tire iron in his hand. A little suspicious. What do you think? Mike, do you really want to get involved? I go, well, that's what we're supposed to do. We're the police, supposed to ask some questions. I mean, the guy's got a tire iron. It's 2 in the morning. What do you think? All right. So I make a U-turn, go the wrong way on Fulton Street, right by Cleveland, one of those streets, Cleveland and Fulton. And we're going back to check up on these guys that we drove past them. Now we're going back. And all of a sudden we pull up and there's a fucking scene in the middle of the street. Guy's got a hole in his head. He's laying on the ground, obviously dead already. And I see a tire iron sitting right here like this, right? But he's here and the tire iron's over here about 15 feet away. And I go, what happened? They go, these two guys, I said, the tire iron? They go, yeah, the tire iron's right there. It was them with the tire iron. They ran. So they shot this kid, Jesus. He probably went out and confronted them and said, what are you guys doing in the neighborhood with a tire iron? Stealing cars, tires and hubs, whatever they could get.
Right.
So he confronted them. They shot and killed him, and they took off in the wind. So I go to Sal. I go, you know what? Not for nothing. I'm glad you didn't. I'm glad we didn't stop him first, but Jesus did. So that was my first actual shooting. That I was what they call the first responding officer on the scene. I was there about probably a week and a half.
Wow.
So I see my first murder in a week and a half, and this is before the crack.
So this is just straight.
This is straight
violence, poverty,
ghetto. Let's just kill this guy because he confronted me.
It's crazy, the idea that the poverty in the ghetto was already fucked
the
up.
The amazing thing was that it probably could have been us, or they would have ran. Like, most people try not to shoot it out with the police,
Right.
But it's
You
dark.
never know.
He just could have.
Right.
And then I wouldn't have all this shit to talk about.
Or more to talk
Or
about.
more to talk about.
Yeah. Or who knows? Yeah. It's just amazing that the crack came along and accelerated what was already fucked up.
Yeah, I don't know what to say. It was amazing. I'll tell you the one thing that was interesting during the crack thing, when he took the cocaine from the Panamanian government in the Panamanian army was involved bringing a lot of cocaine with Noriega into our country. So back then it was the Kango hats. I don't know if you're familiar with the
Kumo
Kangos.
D,
Remember the Kangos?
all that.
Well, the Kango hats, they were getting robbed from people. So there's one kid that's
People are stealing Kangos.
they're fucking killing each other for the triple fat goose, right? The triple fat goose, the Nike Airs, and the Kango hats. So this kid robs this guy for his Kango hat. Someone calls 911, armed robbery suspect. Boop, boop, boop. He runs into a home overrun. I think it was Van Sicklen, one of those streets up there, right off Atlantic Avenue. And he had been up on the kid came off the subway when the kid standing there waiting for him, stole his Kango at gunpoint and ran into his own home. So we knock on the door where the kid lives. He won't open the fucking door. The kid's sharp. I ain't opening the door for you. So he goes back upstairs and hides the kid. Now it was a two-family home. The people downstairs open the door to a common hallway because they see the police. They don't want to fucking. They didn't do nothing wrong. They open the door. We go upstairs. The place has the shoes, the fucking beads separating each room. You ever see the beads that separate the rooms?
Why do they do that? So people make noise when they go through the room?
No, it's sort of like you're supposed to know that this is 2 different rooms when they hang the beads.
Oh, okay.
You know, that's like, this is a door, but it's really not, you know.
Right.
You can see through there pretty good. So this is how it was. That's how the ghetto is, you know, just, or they hang a curtain, 2 different rooms. So we get inside and we see all the shoes and all the money that's spent in this place, and something's up. So we grab the kid. The kid downstairs says, that's him. We can't find a gun. So we end up going downstairs in the basement. And that's when you see me in the movie talk about the story where we found this fucking, call it a suitcase, a wooden suitcase. It was fucking like, it was like 2-inch ply almost. That's how thick this suitcase was, wrapped in leather. I couldn't get it open. I'm like, I'm a pretty fucking strong guy. I couldn't get it open. I'm trying to rip this thing open. I don't have the combination. And there's no one standing there with the key. So finally, one of my partner comes up with a hacksaw. And I start hacksawing this fucking thing open. And what am I worried about? I'm worried about the police.
Right.
There's police all around. This is an armed robbery suspect. So there's
Right.
a half a dozen cops milling in and out of the place. I held my buddy. Watch the staircase because we're down in the basement now.
Right.
I cut this thing open and the fucking when you finally get it open, the plume of fucking cocaine comes flying out and it smells like that bubblegum shit. Delicious. So I'm like, holy shit, we hit pay dirt here. And I'm trying to get the shit out and he goes, my partner goes, they're coming. Like who? He goes, the owner. I go, no. Fucking never mind the police. The owner of the coke is coming. Like, oh, what do we do? Well, we can't lock him up. We're stealing his coke, you know?
Right.
It's like the worst position to be in. And finally, I'm walking out. I'm like, I put 12 pounds on trying to get this coke out of his house, and he's looking at me like I stole something from him, or I feel guilty. And I go, "Is that your stuff?" He goes, "No, not mine." I go, "Okay, see you later." Gotta go. So I get in a patrol car. We go to the bodega. We weigh it. On a fucking scale.
How much?
It was like a pound and a half, something like that. It wasn't
Pound and
much.
a half of cocaine is a lot of money, right?
Well, at that point, yeah, it was like we got 28,000 for we got 28,000 for it. So I bought a condo with. That's when I bought the condo.
At least you were investing. That's actually smart.
Yeah.
It's very smart. A lot of, I mean, when you said you had 4 houses and a condo, I'm like, that's actually, for a guy doing blow, robbing people.
I wasn't doing blow at this time.
At the time, just selling it.
Right. No, stealing.
Or stealing it and then selling it. Yeah, I mean, you were selling it,
I was.
technically.
Yeah, technically. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Anytime you transfer cocaine, by the way,
Yes.
if you give me a half of 8 ball right now, you've sold it.
Really?
Whether you take
That's how
money
it
for it or
works?
not. Yeah.
Oh,
Just
okay.
remember that.
Now I know. What
Don't
about
give me
pot?
Don't give me
Same thing with
anything.
pot?
Same thing. When you
Really?
transfer something, you don't have to give money for it. It's still considered a sale.
Wow. Somebody tell it to Joey Diaz. Hands out fucking pot candies everywhere he goes. So this was like one of the first really big ones that you were involved with. This is
Well, it
like,
was an exciting one, to say
Right.
the least. I left there, I went out into South Carolina and bought a condo on the ocean.
so you would kind of like,
But what happened was I went back to the location to get more because there was a lot more in there. But when I got there was a fucking limousine out front. I swear to Christ. There's a limousine out front with 2 guys, one standing on each side with their full-length trench coats on, like standing there like this and looking right at us. Like, what are you going to do? And I went, let's get the fuck out of here. And I'm not, this is no yoke. I was like, okay, I'm the police and I'm scared to death right now. Gotta go.
Jesus Christ. And how long?
And then I end up in the joint with Noriega.
You were in the same place as Noriega?
Yes.
Did you see him?
No, he was in, they gave him his own house.
Is he still alive?
I think so.
They gave him his own house.
Yeah, he had his, like, this little, they gave him a little warehouse.
They got a little something going on with him?
Who, me?
No, him. Does the government have a little something going on with him?
Oh, I can't
They
answer
hook
for the
him
government.
up, give him some pussy, keep
I
your mouth shut.
I hope so.
No stories.
I hope so. He hasn't said anything, has he?
Well, you always hope that. I mean, or you always hear that rather.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
like
well,
from
listen,
the movie
in the
Goodfellas.
witness protection program, you get pussy.
Yeah?
Yeah.
He's
I wasn't
not-
in it, but I know from guys that were that got kicked out of it.
And they get pussy while they're in the program?
Yeah,
Like
they
the
bring him
government
to
brings them in?
locations. They bring him to a hotel to meet their family, just for a reunion.
Oh, well, that's your family, though. But I mean, like Noriega,
Whatever, we're all family.
they got him in a warehouse somewhere. I would imagine he's got his own little spot.
Listen, I can't.
Imagine
speak.
if you go there and it's all fucking plush carpet, fucking beautiful TVs.
The story that everybody dreams of. Wow, you had some
Yeah.
bid, you know. You
Well,
did
that's
it.
what everybody dreams of, is like that
Yeah.
Goodfellas scenario.
Yeah, right. It's not like
Seeing
that.
the movie where they're
Yes.
cooking steaks
Yeah,
and slicing
right,
the garlic
slicing the
with
garlic.
a razor
Oh, we
blade.
slice garlic with razor blades. Don't kid yourself.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely. And there is steak.
Do you really get steak?
Yeah, if you know the right people.
Well, what else can you get when you're in there? Can you get girls?
Yeah, you have to pay the guards, you know.
Really?
Yeah, but it's rare. But it happens. Usually it's the guards you're banging, female guards.
Out of here,
Yeah,
right?
that's a shame.
that state. That was that
Not
upstate
state,
New
but
York.
the feds are a little more classy. You got to send money to their private account.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
But you can. It all can be.
Well, anything can happen if you have the right number, right?
Really? Like, how much you got to pay a guard to get some pussy?
I think the going rate was $500, but I'm not sure.
$500. So you
Yeah.
pay them $500 and you can get laid.
Yeah, you don't hand it to them. You have it sent.
Right. That seems like it would be worth it.
I mean, I'm just saying.
That
Of
seems
course,
like
it was.
really,
I would have doubled that
Yeah.
after a certain amount of time.
It seems like a really good deal, actually.
Yeah, really.
$500 seems like
yeah,
a
well, these
bargain.
girls, you know, they were out in the country. They weren't like city girls.
So, but female guards would oftentimes mix it up with
Listen,
prisoners?
if I ever go back in fucking prison, okay, this is not a good thing for me to say. So,
Well, you're
it
not going to go
happens.
back
I'm
in
just
prison.
saying it happens.
You're not going to go back in
No,
prison.
but you never know.
But listen.
The government can find ways.
Well, why would they find ways?
We have ways.
Listen, it's not going to happen.
I know.
Just
Amen.
keep your
Keep your nose clean.
your nose clean. You'll be fine.
Yeah, I know.
But that was what happened in upstate New York, right? Those guys that got out,
From what I
and the girl
understand,
was supposed to wait
she
for
was having a
him.
relationship with one of them.
Yeah.
And it happens. It happens quite often. It's a difficult position to be in. You're a woman getting attention by men who are, most of them, in pretty good shape. You know, they work
Yeah.
out all day long. They got nothing but do is sweet talk you. And, you know, you having a fight with your husband that day. And now, you know, you're vulnerable like anything else.
Mm-hmm.
You know? It happens.
I think Tupac's got a song about that, doesn't he?
We're vulnerable?
When I get free. Yeah, that's just hand you a little piece of paper there. What's going on? Your son's giving you notes? What's it saying?
I don't really know if I should talk about that.
What?
That I made $38,000 with phone sex in prison.
Did you really? Why would you not talk about that? Is it illegal?
No, it's just, I'm over it.
Wait a minute.
I
Did you
spent
make
the money.
phone sex for like calling out, like gay guys would call you up? Is that
No,
what you mean?
no. They don't call you. You call out. All right. I didn't have a hotline in prison. No, I had a following of people that, you know.
So you
So
had a business.
I had a woman that sent me books on dominatrix stuff. You know, she wanted me to dominate her. Master slave books. You know, like the Story of O.
Right.
I don't know if you guys might be too old for that, but it's not old enough. Story of O was like an incredible book about a woman that liked to be sort of manipulated and whatnot in some kind of ways. And
So women
this woman
would
sent me
contact
this
you
woman
in
sent me a
prison.
bunch of books related to that, and then I would have phone sex with her on the phone. Of course, you know.
And she would give you money?
Yeah, I mean,
Wow.
Yeah.
So a girl would pay you for phone sex?
yeah.
That's pretty
You can
goddamn.
say that.
That's
You can
pretty
say that.
special.
They called it cell phones.
Well,
I was
isn't-
in a cell on the phone.
But back then, like, that's pretty rare, though, isn't it? That like a woman would pay a guy for that. They always say that men who are in jail for like murder and stuff like
Right,
that,
right.
a lot of
They
women
got a lot
will
of
send
fans.
them. Yeah.
Yeah, I had a lot of fans,
Yeah.
mostly women. Well,
Really?
listen. People are lonely, you know.
Mm-hmm.
People are lonely, you know.
Right.
Even people in the free world are lonely. They need attention
Yes.
and affection from anybody, and you know, it wasn't really done in a manipulative way
Right.
because I needed attention and affection too. You
Right,
know?
right.
And just so happened that she wanted me to do this, so
Right.
I got good at it. The guards would fight to get my. Because they would be listening. Because every conversation in prisons, I'd walk down the compound, they'd be looking at me like, "Okay, when are you going on tonight?"
So you would like going on like it was a performance.
Right? Yeah, like us now.
That's
They couldn't wait till I got on the
hilarious.
phone. I don't know. They were sweating on the other end. I don't know.
And they were listening. The guards were listening in.
Yeah.
That's fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
So
they got mad at me. They used to make me send the money home. You know, you got too much money in your account. You got to send it home.
the guards would make you send the money home.
Yeah, because you can't have too much money in your account while you're incarcerated, because then you can control people in the prison.
Ah, well, how much can you keep in your account?
I don't know. They made. I had 16,000 in there. They said, whoa, you got to fucking send some home.
And it's all from this one lady?
Yeah.
Did you have other people that you were doing this phone sex
No,
thing
she
with?
was my well.
A couple?
She was the main. She was the payee.
How much did you make her pay?
Payor. I didn't make a. There was no salary. You know, it wasn't a.
She just would send you donations?
She had an escort business.
She had an escort business.
Yeah, I didn't want to talk about this. She
Why
had
would
an
you not
escort
want to talk
business.
about this?
She had an escort business in Orlando. She ends up getting arrested for it. While I'm on the
Oh.
phone with her having sex, she gets arrested.
Like they broke into her house?
Yeah.
Oh, why? Why?
Because she's running an
Officers,
escort.
why? So what?
Right.
Isn't there
Well-
other shit to arrest people
Well,
for?
the fact is that she ends up going to trial. She ends up going to trial and winning.
Oh, that's nice.
So it's a great story for her, you know.
Yeah.
But my fucking donation stopped because she was going through hell, you know.
Wow.
So
That's crazy, though.
it was interesting.
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah, I would
Yeah,
say
you know what
at
it is?
least interesting.
You know, you have a life. We all live a life. We all do things. And as it turns out, you know, you can write books and movies about everybody's life. Everybody has.
Listen to me. right now, your life is way more fucked up than most people's lives.
Fucked up.
Your book,
I thought it was interesting.
it's very interesting, but a lot of fucked up things are interesting.
Yeah.
But your story, I mean, like you saying, everybody's got an interesting life. You write a book about everybody. Like, no. Listen, you wrote a book about, Jamie's life. It'd be boring as fuck compared to
come on.
yours.
Look, he's got a beautiful
Well,
shirt
he's a great
on.
guy.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying, no coke, no phone sex
forget it.
business,
Forget it.
no murders. He's never seen a dead body. I don't think. No. See, everybody's got. You know what I'm
For
saying?
real?
Yeah. See,
Oh, shit.
you've seen some shit. You just don't think you've seen some shit.
You know what it is? You take things for granted. When
Sure.
you live the life I lived, and even though like I'm lucky to be alive, in many ways, you just, like we haven't even discussed police work here because
Barely.
Yeah. Well, the
Yeah.
reason is because to me it was a normal day. I handled 28-day jobs average a day, so and then backed up on another 28. So the reality is, the fucked up things I was involved in. I mean, I don't tell you the story. I'm going to tell you the story, right? I hope you guys enjoy this one. This is entertaining. I laugh about it myself. And you know what? When I laugh, don't take it the wrong way because it's just crazy. I don't mean to demean anything or anyone. So I'm getting ready to go to Atlanta, to the Bahamas. And so what I do is I change my shift from a 4 to 12 to a day shift so that after the day shift, I can go on my merry vacation instead of ending at 4 to 12 at night. So I get assigned a prisoner in Kings County Hospital. And, there's so many fucking stories in my head, it just spins. So now you realize I'm going on vacation at the end of this shift. I'm going to the Bahamas or the Cayman Islands. I don't know, someplace. I think the Bahamas. So I have 3 days growth on my face. Now, this is how a cop thinks. I got 3 days growth on my face because I'm going away. You can't have growth on your face as a cop. You're supposed to be clean shaven. You can have a mustache, but you got to be clean shaven otherwise. So when you turn out, you got to look tight. So now I'm in this hospital, 3 days growth on my face, and I'm drunk because I just did an all-nighter. Because I did a 4 to 12. Instead of going home, I stayed at the precinct, tapped down half a dozen or a dozen, whatever, and now I'm back at the hospital guarding this prisoner. I walk in the hospital, and I take the handcuffs. I said to the kid, "Where's the fucking handcuffs?" He goes, "You're a rookie." He goes, "What do you mean?" I go, "If he's a fucking prisoner, he's got to be handcuffed." Well, he wasn't handcuffed when I got here, and I said, so I take the handcuffs. I said, "Have a nice day." I put the cuffs on the guy and cuff him to his bed. Officer, what are you doing? I says, "For Christ's sakes, you're a fucking prisoner. I gotta sleep. I got things to do here. All right, I gotta sleep, catch up because I'm going to the Bahamas tomorrow." Long story short, trying to shorten it. He goes, "Look, I gotta take a piss. I gotta use the bathroom." He's waking me up now. I was sleeping already. He wakes me up. So I uncuff him. He goes to the bathroom. I fall back to sleep. He's in the bathroom, comes back, wakes me up. Officer, I'm back from the bathroom. I said, "Okay, I go to put." He goes, "I just woke you up. What are you putting the fucking handcuffs on me for?" So I go, "Listen, anyway." He goes, now he wants to take a shower. So I go, "All right, go take your fucking shower. I'm sleeping." I said, "Wake me up when you come back." All of a sudden, about, I don't know, 10, 15, 20 minutes later, "Officer, yeah, it's a nurse. Your prisoner's gone." I go, "Oh, no." Now, I didn't shave for 3 days. I'm drunk, hungover, and I'm going to the Bahamas tomorrow. If you make an arrest right now, you got a problem because you got to process the arrest all the way through. I got 17 hours overtime stuck in front of me. I'm not making this Bahamas trip. Oh, fuck. So I try to put a description over the air of an escaped prisoner. Possibly escaped prisoner. Because I don't want to admit that the prisoner's escaped yet. Because I don't know if he is. But he's just not here. I don't see him. He's gone. So if I put over the air an escaped prisoner, I just cost myself 10 days vacation. Okay, that's mandatory minimum by law in the police department. If you lose a prisoner, you lose 10 days vacation.
Whoa.
So now I'm not shaving. All right? I'm running around fucking Kings County Hospital. I left my gun. The only thing I have on is my gun. I have, so cops have a jacket with their badge on it. I took the jacket off. So all I have is a radio and a gun. I'm running around looking for a fucking prisoner. So cops pull up. They see a guy with a radio and a gun. They don't see a cop in uniform. They don't know who the fuck I am. I'm putting over there a possible escaped prisoner. So the communication.
Oh, no.
Yeah, this communication. I don't get shot. But the communications officer on the phone says, "Can you call me?" So I call her off what they call, we call it Central. So I call Central. Central, what's your number? So I call her. She goes to me, "Officer, what is a possible escaped prisoner? It's either he's escaped or he's not. I go, Central, it's not something I want to put over the air that the fucking guy's gone. I said, he may be gone. He may be down the block. He may be sleeping. I can't find him. She goes, okay. She says, what's he wearing? He says, hospital garb. Green hospital garb. Okay. So she puts over the air, a possible escaped prisoner from Kings County Hospital wearing green hospital garb. 15 minutes later, 7-5 hospital post on the air. Yeah. 6-7 sergeant. Yeah, what's up, Sarge? Yeah, we have a guy here. Could you come meet us at the front lobby of the King? Now, Kings County Hospital, people don't know, is the size of a whole neighborhood. It's huge. It's probably a mile this way, a mile that way, with 50 buildings in it, and it's like a guarded fence. But you know, there's no guards and there's no real fence. It's just brick walls all over the place. So all of a sudden, he comes walking in with the guy. The sergeant and his driver come walking in with the guy. And all I can do is want to kill this fucking guy because I'm done. Now the duty captain has to come down. The duty captain's going to see that I haven't shaven. So now I'm upstairs trying to shave and I'm bleeding now because they give you these safety razors. They don't cut anything but you. So I'm shaving my face with this safety razor. I got blood all over me. I'm trying to wipe it up because as soon as he escaped, that's the first thing I did. After I called for the back, I started shaving this beard on my face off because I know I'm done. I'm getting interviewed by a duty captain. He's going to smell the fucking booze on my breath and my face is not coiffed. So I'm done. Not because this is going to bring attention to my drunkenness. So I'm shaving and bleeding. In comes a sergeant with this fucking inmate, convict, whatever he is, and perp. And I look at him. He looks at me. I go, what the fuck did you do? He goes, there was voices telling me I had to go. They were telling me I had to run. I go, I pick him up. You know, you get superhuman things. I pick him up with one hand like this. I got him against the glass in Kings County Hospital. And I go to him. I want to fucking knock him out, but the sergeant's right there, right? Sergeant goes, take it easy, take it easy, take it easy. I go, he just cost me fucking 10 days, but I can't go on my vacation now. So I let him down, and I go, drag him back to his appointed bed. Now I want to put the cuffs around his neck, right? I go, I know I shouldn't have fucking, I don't know. Voices are telling me. I look up on his bed. It says, HIV. Now back then, HIV was like, you know,
Yeah.
you're done. I'm done.
Right.
I think I got AIDS now.
From touching him.
From touching him. I think I got fucking AIDS.
Right.
So here I am. I just touched this AIDS patient. I'm dying. He's dying. And I'm going on vacation. And I'm not, what am I going to do now? How do you respond to this? So I don't know what to do. So I'm waiting for the duty captain to come by. I'm bleeding. I'm bleeding still. I got holes in my face, right? Now I can't even touch myself. I just touched him with my hands.
Right.
Now I got AIDS on my hands. I'm bleeding. I'm done. I might as well just sign my death warrant right now. Not to mention, you know, I'm not making this vacation. So anyway, they come to relieve me. And how the story turns out is I end up on vacation in a timely manner. I'm supposed to process this arrest. The arrest took me about 15 minutes to process. So I walked back into the precinct. And the lieutenant on the desk goes, Dowd, you got to go back down to central booking and process the arrest of that inmate that escaped. I go, I do? He goes, yeah. I go, I hand him a piece of paper. Here's the arrest report to 61, the aided card, and my overtime slip. He goes, you done? This is the guy who's trying to bang my girlfriend. He goes, you done? The guy whose spot I parked in with the red Corvette. Mm-hmm. He goes, you done? I go, there's my arrest number. We hated each other. I go, there's my arrest number. There's the complaint number, and there's the aided card, and there's my overtime slip. He goes, he knew I was going on vacation. He goes, oh, he's fucking fuming. So, P.S., I lost the perp, I got him back, and I still made the vacation.
Wow.
and I end up not losing the 10 days. They forgot to interview me.
They forgot to interview you?
Yeah, I ended up getting interviewed about a year later on that, and they took something from me. But it was like, it was happen chance then.
They took something
We have this old thing sitting around on our desk. I go, whatever. It's over with now. So the sting wasn't there, and I'm not going to lose my job. You know, I'm drunk, on duty, losing a prisoner. Come on.
Right.
How could you not lose your job?
You got lucky.
Maybe. Did I?
Definitely.
Well, I would have lost my job. I would have been safe, right?
I don't know. I mean, I hate to say everything happens for a reason. I fucking hate that saying. But sometimes it applies.
It's scary.
Jesus Christ. But you got to feel lucky that you went through all this and you're still alive and you're still healthy. And
I am very lucky and blessed. Yeah. Yeah, I am.
I mean, you've lived I mean, to say you've
Yeah,
lived
I'm
a
tired.
colorful life.
I'm fucking tired.
You'd have to be.
I'm fucking tired.
Jesus Christ, you've been
Look at
running
me, I'm
up
sweating
hills,
like a fuck just telling you these stories.
carrying weights your whole life on coke.
On these sticks, these spindles of a ledge.
Jesus fucking Christ. It's a crazy story. And I'm sure you have a million crazy stories like that.
That's an easy one. That was an easy one to tell, you know.
Yeah, that's a 4-minute one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just couldn't imagine.
Yeah.
I really do hope that this does become a book.
Well, I'd like to share the stories because they're interesting and funny, you know.
Yeah.
And you know what? A lot of people like to they don't want to give the recognition to that. This is what life is. People live a life, and you have to share your stories with people. You know,
Yeah.
you really do. You know, and I like to talk. So.
Well, in the time, it's like you were alive during the perfect time where all this happened.
The
I mean,
crack
think
era,
about it.
right? The crack
Well,
era.
not just that. Like you started out before the crack era. The crack era happened while you were in.
It destroyed a large community of people, and people that weren't even part of the
Yeah.
community got destroyed because of it.
And think about how much how much of it would be different today because of cell phones, because of the internet. I mean, there's just
You know, we can bring this conversation that direction. It wouldn't be the way it was. That's
No,
for sure.
there's
you
no
know?
way.
And
I
that's
mean-
why I talk about this often. I think that you really, you know, you have to get with it. You have to move along. The police society has to move along. You know, I listen. I tell a story in the movie. A cop gets shot. Right. I end up taking him to the hospital, and I didn't deserve to feel his pain. And that's a really hard thing for a guy who was a cop. I didn't deserve to feel what happened to him and his family. And you really, when you're a cop, you don't want to ever feel that way. I mean, I couldn't.
Did you feel like you were a cop
know
when
what?
you
I
were
always-
in the middle of it all?
You know what, Joe? I always felt like a cop. I just always thought I can come back and be a cop.
So you always thought, like, eventually I'm going to let this stuff go.
Right, I'm gonna grow up.
Wow.
Just never got a chance. I'm gonna grow up.
But
You know?
you piled up so much, you know? You know, it's a fucking crazy life, man.
It's
really
not
crazy.
it's not a good life, you know. And the fact that we're saying that, you know, I could sit on some pile of gold or whatever, and I love to hear that. Everyone likes to, you know, that it's just the fact that you turn something bad into something good is a good thing. But it was fucking hell, and still, you know, I mean, sometimes I can't even go up to a cop today and say, "How you doing?" I'm Mike Dowd. You could do that to any cop, and they say, "Hey, Joe,
Right.
nice to meet you. I love you." I do that. I'm like, you know,
Right.
do they really want to say hello to me, or
Right.
they want to just clean their fucking hand, you know?
Right.
I had a guy come up to me at one of the previews I did or screenings, and said, "You're a fucking low-life piece of shit. Go fuck yourself."
He was a cop?
Yeah, yeah. I probably could have squashed him like a bug, but that's not the point. You know, it's true. You know, I looked at him and I fucking squashed you. You couldn't be half the cop I was when I did my job well. You couldn't be half what I was. But you know, the problem was I dabbled on both sides at the same time. That's why in the movie they said, "What were you, a cop or a gangster?" Both. You know.
Yeah. There's that scene where the one cop sees you coming out, and he says he looks at you, and he goes, "And I don't see cop, I see perp."
Right. Well, he's a douchebag.
Is he a douchebag?
Yeah, he's a douchebag. They don't like him.
Why is that?
No one likes him. Internal Affairs doesn't like him.
Really?
Yeah, I'm working with Internal Affairs right now, by the way.
You're working with them?
Yeah, I didn't tell
How
you that?
so? No.
No, I'm training them. We're in the midst of finishing a training video for bosses, cops, and recruits. 3 different videos.
Wow. Well,
Yeah.
that makes sense. That seems like something that you would really be able to help with.
Yeah, I think I could, and you know what, I put a lot of these films are so dry and boring, and I give a little character to the
little
fucking
flavor.
training session, you know.
A little
I mean,
flavor.
listen, I met 2 beautiful women, and I'm being honest, sincere. I spoke on one was the chief of Internal Affairs, and one was a lieutenant in Internal Affairs, both smoking hot.
Yeah.
And for real. And
Right.
they would have had me in a minute. You know, if they just sent them in, I would have been caught in 1987. But
Right.
anyway, these 2 girls, women, and they fucking they knew that their internal affairs division needed something that was, that's the word, poignant or riveting. Mm-hmm. And they said, "We need you. Can you help us?"
They need some character.
They need some character.
Yeah, people don't pay attention to information unless it's distributed in an entertaining way. There's a big difference between just flat, boring, dry information and information that's got some flavor to it.
Right. So I did something with them, and in fact, I spoke to them last week briefly. I told them, some of the things I was doing. They were sort of acting jealous. I said, "Jealous? You got a fucking pension. Don't be jealous, okay? I'm selling my soul right now just to make ends meet, and they got a pension and retirement system. They're gonna be fine, But interesting conversation with them, and so they're looking to do something with that and have me back and speak before academy class, or I don't know about the precincts. The guys might not open their arms to me the way the rookies are forced to, Well, and then I'm doing some colleges right now. I'm
that's
speaking
great
at colleges.
too.
Yeah.
That sounds great.
Humanities classes, some ethical classes for the law students and criminal justice departments. One of the police departments has actually reached out to me. In the South. I don't want to put their name out there just in case they decide not to. But they have like 750 officers. They want me to come and actually speak.
It's a great idea. It makes a lot of sense. It's a very smart idea.
Look, what I did was horrific. I abused a position of trust. I did my time. Now I hope I can help people avoid guys that can do what I did, or pick up on it, and maybe how to stop them before. Like this, maybe guy has the characteristics of a guy that could go that way. This is not an innocent happening. This thing just didn't happen because I was like greedy, which is definitely part of the reason it happened. It happened because of a bunch of political things that were put in place back in the 80s. We started promoting people based on the color of their skin or their ethnicity rather than on their promotional ratings, passing tests. And it was very, very divisive. The police department became divided, and we all became our own actors. And it was a difficult time for the police department. And what you got from it was a lot of internal strife. We hated the job, but we loved being cops. So it was very difficult. And the guys that loved being cops, that were true to the job, they became good cops and got their pensions. The guys like myself who turned into me, they began to rebel. I mean, they're telling you not to make arrests. They're telling you not to do this. And your boss failed 3 tests, and you passed. You didn't pass them either. But so you both should be in the same ground. Now he's your boss or she's your boss. So it was a very, very political upheaval within the police department itself when this rife time in the crack era hit, all at the same time.
Yeah, it's like a perfect storm.
It was a perfect storm.
The whole thing is
a perfect storm. And they didn't want another fucking scandal like they had in the 7-7 precinct.
Right.
Which people aren't aware of unless they know the police department history.
Mike, we just did 3 hours.
Oh, fuck.
That was it. That's 3 hours just fucking
listen,
flew by.
make sure we talk about themikeDowd.com.
Yes, themikeDowd.com, and that's where people should buy the documentary, the 7.5, and do buy the documentary because it is fucking 5 stars.
Thank you.
It's outstanding.
Yeah. It was well done.
It's very, very well done, and it's compelling. And so are you, man. Thank you very much, brother. I really appreciate
Joe.
it.
I'm very happy to be here.
On. We're going to do this again.
Oh, great. Great luck
100%.
to. Thanks.
All right, fuckers. See you soon. Woo.